Here's where wild horses roam the dunes, sunsets blaze over the sound, migratory birds soar, and the waves of the Atlantic crash onto the beach. This is where history buffs find stirring stories. Sports enthusiasts golf, kayak, paddleboard, fish, swim, surf, hike, and bike. And where the daily catch of fresh seafood and local produce is always on the menu. Both residents and visitors alike take time to feel the sand between their toes and feel the rhythm of the sound in their dreams. And Currituck County is also booming with economic and commercial opportunities. New and seasoned businesses thrive with a surplus of available land and the pro-business benefits of a North Carolina address. Businesses have access to generous incentives, low taxes, and a growing workforce right here in Currituck County. Businesses are proud to call this place home. Here in Currituck, we're right next door to the Greater Hampton Roads, Virginia area, a region that includes the cities of Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, and Norfolk, with a population of over 1.7 million. It's the second largest market in Virginia after Northern Virginia, and home to the Port of Virginia, one of the biggest, deepest, and busiest international ports in the United States. Businesses have direct access to a growing network of roadways, a robust rail system, and a centrally located regional airport. And coming soon, a major interstate will connect the county to Raleigh and the Research Triangle, adding a direct route to North Carolina's famous hub of healthcare, technology, and higher education. And with all of its amenities, the quality of life in Currituck is also one of its biggest attractions for entrepreneurs and businesses alike. Currituck has quiet and safe neighborhoods, excellent schools, including a satellite location of the College of the Albemarle, part of the North Carolina Community College System. Great restaurants, arts and entertainment, and special events. And of course, the world-famous Outer Banks. It's the perfect place to live, work, and play.
Snyder, former professional surfer. Now I run a gym and been swimming in the ocean my whole life. The power of the ocean deserves everyone's respect. Even on those calm days, it's hard to see the powerful rip currents that are present up and down our East Coast. Every year, unsuspected swimmers find themselves in the grip of a rip, and many of them lose their lives. Such tragic events can easily be prevented. Go, check your lucky forecast before you head out, and always swim near a lifeguard. And if you
Amber, and I am the Sea Turtle Assistance and Rehabilitation Manager here at the North Carolina Aquarium on Roanoke Island. It's also known as the Star Center, and in here we actually take care of sick and debilitated turtles. We bring them in, we fix them up, and then we release them back into the wild where they are healthy and can have a second chance being in the open ocean. Technically, here in Star Center, we have two big seasons when it comes to sea turtles. From October to about the beginning or mid of March, we see what we call cold stun sea turtles. Cold stunning is essentially a hypothermia that sea turtles exhibit signs of when they kind of stick around in our sound a little too long. As the temperatures change and they drop pretty quickly around here in the winter, what happens is we see those symptoms of upper respiratory infections. We can sometimes even see frostbite later in the year. So we fix those turtles up in the winter and get them out as quick as possible. The second time we get a lot of sea turtles is in the summer. Here in the Outer Banks, we have a lot of boat traffic, a lot of people out on the water, and the major things that we see are fishing interactions, be it hooking ingestions, we see boat strikes, we can see entanglements. And all of those things can be helped, or if they're spotted out in the water, a lot of times our charter boat captains will actually let us know and bring them in for us, and they can help us get them into rehab a lot sooner than waiting for them to kind of strand on the beach. And we get everything in between as well. So here in the Outer Banks, we see 4 types of sea turtles, but 3 mainly on the island that we get in for rehabilitation. So the ones that we see in rehab are the Kemp's Ridleys. They are the smallest and the most endangered sea turtle species that we see in here. And then we typically see them at a really small juvenile stage, maybe about the size of a dinner plate, although we do have a couple outliers that are about 40 pounds, so a little bit bigger. We also see green sea turtles. Green sea turtles are kind of our dominant species when it comes to cold stun season. We see a lot of them, about 6 to 10 pounds is kind of our average. We also see loggerhead sea turtles. We see them not only during cold stun season, but they are our primary nesting turtles up here in the Outer Banks. Sea turtles come into Star Center via our volunteers that comb the beaches during certain times of the year, or visitors to the island finding them on the beach. We partner with different organizations to bring sea turtles into us so that we can start their rehabilitation process. And that all starts with a basic intake exam, just like you would go to the doctor if you were feeling sick. We take an internal body temperature so that we can better gauge how to warm them up. Sea turtles have to be warmed up gradually, especially when they have a really low body temperature. Otherwise, their body can kind of fight against them in that process. We also take a blood sample. We can analyze that blood sample so that we know what vitamins they're deficient in, how dehydrated they are, and it gives us kind of an indicator or a baseline for when they start to go through rehab to kind of compare how they're progressing through rehabilitation. We also do kind of a physical examination. We look at their eyes, nose, mouth, just to make sure that everything is nice and clear. Once they are stable, they can start to get some enrichment items. We try to give them things to interact with or things in their environment to kind of stimulate natural behaviors like foraging. So live food, offering them a crab or a jellyfish. Something to kind of stimulate that natural foraging and hunting response in the sea turtles. Once they look okay behaviorally, once their blood work looks great, we talk to our veterinarians and we make a plan for release. We have the option of partnering up with quite a few different agencies. We have Park Service down here, we have Fish and Wildlife, we have the Coast Guard down in Hatteras and in Norfolk, Virginia. And they can do boat releases out to the Gulf Stream, or we can do beach releases here whenever it's warm enough. So we have quite a few options in getting these guys back out. Come learn more about sea turtles here at the Star Center at the North Carolina Aquarium on Roanoke Island. Thanks for watching.
My name is Quentin Turco and I live in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. And I do everything from surfing to fishing to spearfishing to paddleboarding. I mean, pretty much anything that involves the ocean. The power of the ocean deserves everyone's respect. The force of shorebreak waves can catch unsuspecting swimmers off guard, driving them into the sand, causing neck and back injuries, and in some cases, even drowning. Such incidents can easily be prevented with a few local tips. Know before you go and check local beach forecasts before you head out. Always swim near a lifeguard. Always be mindful of incoming waves even when near the water's edge. When in the water, play the over-under game. Little waves we go over, larger waves we go under. Live like a local, love the beach, respect the ocean.
capacity to explore a passion while learning from the greatest to ever do it, reliability to make those who are far away feel like they never left, speeds for fueling moments of discovery while sparking curiosity. It's not just internet, it's a gateway to opportunities you never even knew existed. Ripple Fiber, multiplying potential for you, your family, and the community.
Hi, this is Joey the Wine Guy, located in the general store of the Christmas Shopper General Store, located in Manteo, North Carolina, right here on historic Roanoke Island. Join me daily from 11 to 5 for free wine tastings here at the general store, where you can try it before you buy it. Be sure and try our featured German Christmas wine, just the thing to get you in the Christmas spirit all year long. And don't forget to ask me about special pricing on 6 and 12 bottle cases. Whether you're looking for a Chardonnay, a Cabernet, or your favorite Merlot, we've got it here at the Christmas Shopper General Store.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, Cyrus.
What?
Oh, Benny! Benny just got, oh my God.
There's more to the story at rawobx.com.
Outer Banks Furniture is the leather expert on the beach and the only furniture store exclusively offering Omnia leather, with almost 200 different colors and styles to choose from. With unmatched design, comfort, and luxury, Omnia leather only sources hand-picked top-grain hides from the oldest tanneries in the world, then creates the finest chairs, sofas, recliners, and accent pieces right here in the USA. Find the exceptional collection of Omnia leather exclusively at Outer Banks Furniture, Milepost 1 in Kitty Hawk.
Flat tops were a Frank Stick design. It was a modernist design in its day. Flat tops were really designed to blend into the landscape, to blend into the sand dunes. They were really the environmentalists of their time. They used local sand for the cement blocks. They used local woods. They were really trying to promote the Outer Banks and what the Outer Banks was all about.
Frank Stick, who was a wildlife artist and visionary, a developer and really a Renaissance man, had the vision to develop the property here at Southern Shores in 1947, and as a part of that discovered that the sale of the property would go much better if it had homes on them. So it was he who had the original idea to design the homes in the flat top that was somewhat reminiscent of architecture by Frank Lloyd Wright and also somewhat reminiscent of architecture in Florida. These homes originally were made of cement block from the gravel that they took from the beach right here, and they were actually manufactured right here on the Outer Banks. More than 300 of these homes were built from the late 40s through the early 60s. And now, however, there are just over 30 cottages that still retain the flat roof. This year alone, since October of 2013, 3 flat tops were torn down.
These houses were designed to have a main room for the family and then a wing for the children and the adults to live, and a guest or left side for the maid quarters. Our house was built in 1955 to 58. It is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's small, but we love it. What we love most is the juniper walls, the juniper ceilings. It's all original. We even have a front door that has all the colors the house has ever had the trim painted. There's just so much history here to share with your families, and that's why we love Southern Shores.
So all of the proceeds from the tour go to that fund that will help us keep this building forever as a flat top, even as the Outer Banks changes. This cottage will always be here with its vertical shutters and the correct paint colors, the historic sink. We actually had a leak in the sink earlier this winter, and we got the historically correct faucets to replace the old one that had rusted through. So we're committed to keeping this as a flat top with all the right wood and all of the right fixtures. Last year we had over 300 people visiting the flat tops. We were absolutely astounded by the turnout. We had a line out the door all day. People were so enthusiastic about seeing the inside of these iconic cottages. The tickets are only $5. We think that's a great bargain to see the inside of 14 gorgeous cottages. And all of the proceeds benefit the Flat Top Preservation Fund, so it's going to a really good cause. A few decades ago, flat tops were the only building you saw in Southern Shores. The landscape was entirely flat tops. Obviously, the Outer Banks is changing, and it's wonderful that a few flat top cottages still remain as a reminder of from whence we came. Flat tops were built low to the ground and with local materials to sort of blend into the landscape and to use all of the local resources. And we think it's a wonderful reminder of Outer Banks history. It's a great fit for the Outer Banks Community Foundation because we are committed to keeping the Outer Banks a wonderful and even better place to live, work, and play, and flat tops are part of that.
Jewelry by Gail is celebrating its 47th anniversary this year. In loving memory of Gail Kowalski, This hidden gem is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 5. A shop that has something for everyone, featuring Gail's signature styles, all types of gorgeous jewelry, men's rings, a unique bridal section where you can build your own engagement ring, the Outer Banks' largest pearl selection, and so much more. Come find the perfect look for that special someone at Jewelry by Gail in Nags Head.
In a world of ordinary vacations, live the extraordinary. Book the real Outer Banks.
Welcome to the Currituck Outer Banks. On your way to the beach and need to make a stop for some sweets? These mainland shops have the inside scoop on why their businesses have what you have been craving.
My name is Mallory. I am the store manager of LJ Beaner's Bakery and Cafe in Moyock, North Carolina. We have weekly breakfast and lunch specials. We also offer breakfast every day from 6 to 2 all day. We do sweet potato biscuits made from scratch daily. We are famous for our jumbo 1-pound cinnamon rolls that are a big hit with our customers. We offer all of your baked goods baked fresh daily, from cake pops to donuts to cupcakes. People should stop at LJ Beaner's because of not only the amazing goods that we offer, but also the atmosphere. It's very community oriented here, and we take pride in our community outreach. We also offer seasonal drink options for our coffee, our espresso. Everybody loves a good cold drink in the summer and a nice hot one in the winter, and we've got you covered for that. And then, our food with our specials changing every week, I think it gives the customers a good option.
My name is Darcy Messina. I work at Scoop's Ice Cream Shop on the Shortcut Road on 158 in Shawboro, North Carolina. We have a full-service ice cream shop. We do milkshakes, banana splits, sundaes, brownie sundaes, just about anything you can dream up we can make. We can do pints. We can do to-go with lids, so they can take it, or they can sit here and enjoy it in the outdoors, or come inside and sit down with us and have an ice cream. It's not store-bought ice cream. Our ice cream is made for us from a little ice cream creamery in Virginia Beach, and you can only get it at their stores and ours. It's handmade ice cream, all natural ingredients. It's the best.
As you get farther into Currituck and closer to the beach, you will find Outback Candy and the Sweet Sunflower in the heart of Grandy, North Carolina. These two family-owned shops are in the same store, so all your sweets can be found in one location. Outback Candy is like the old-fashioned candy stores your parents or grandparents would have shopped in. From a large selection of saltwater taffy, glass-bottled sodas, canned jams and preserves, to hand-dipped ice cream and shakes, this country store has all the sweets you will need. Need a cake, pie, cookies, or cupcakes for the road or for the beach house? The Sweet Sunflower has a large selection of baked goods as well as custom orders that can be filled before you get to the beach. Just call ahead and let the Sweet Sunflower bake that cake you need to feed the whole family or for that special occasion. You can find more delicious sweets throughout the Currituck Outer Banks, whether on the mainland or in Corolla, at visitcurrituck.com.
The water is what brought us here. It's our way of life, our playground. The water is what keeps us coming back. Find your calm at visitcurrituck.com.
Take a tour of an Outer Banks icon and experience what life was like here in the Roaring '20s. Whalehead in historic Corolla Park is a beautifully restored Art Nouveau masterpiece and museum located on the Currituck Sound. For tour information, go to visitwhalehead.com.
Kitty Hawk is one of the oldest towns on the Outer Banks. Long before the Wright brothers shared Addie and Bill Tate's home on Moorshore Road, there was a small but thriving community spread around the shores of Kitty Hawk Bay. Very few people know Kitty Hawk as well as Cliff Perry.
I'm Clifton Perry. I was born and raised in Kitty Hawk, born in 1936, and I have been the mayor and town council for 26 years in Kitty Hawk. Up Road and Down Road is what used to be Otilla in the Up the Road, and Kitty Hawk was down the road, had two post offices. It was divided in two different towns, and sometime when the schoolhouse was built, or sometime it was incorporated and became Kitty Hawk. When I was a kid, this was sort of the hub of Kitty Hawk. To your right over here, there was a country store, and in that store was also a post office, the Kitty Hawk post office. The same way they got supplies at the end of Kitty Hawk Road, they had a long pier right there, and tugboat from Elizabeth City came and brought supplies and mail and delivered it to Otilla Post Office. And then they came around through Kitty Hawk Bay, and there was a long pier at the end of Lodgebaum Road, and that's where the tugboat tied up. They had to be way out there because there's a high shoal. And then in 1944, there came a bad storm and tore up the pier at the end of Lodgebaum Road. My daddy had a fish house down there, and he had his fishing supplies, but he used to take the Wright brothers in a skiff sometime down to where they went ashore to fly the airplane, and he pulled them down there and back at different times. Other people did also. And the day that they flew, they asked him, "Don't you want to go with us?" He said, "No, I'm going fishing." My daddy never owned a car. In a horse and cart, my mother used to deliver the milk while he was fishing. We milked cows. In the stores, it was just a few canned goods, and it was no loaf bread or anything like that in those days. And it was flour and salt pork and meat you could buy from the store. Some of it was locally stuff that was killed and sold here. And my daddy also had a lot of beef. I think he had 81 head of cattle at one time, and the cattle were allowed to run loose until they put the bridge across, and then they passed a no fence law. You had to fence up your cattle. And that was kind of the life of Kitty Hawk. It was fish and wildlife that you killed, squirrels and raccoons and ducks and geese, and that was Kitty Hawk. I mean, we didn't buy much stuff.
Beginning in 1942, the Outer Banks was on the front line of World War II as German U-boats prowled offshore, taking a horrific toll on Allied shipping.
Okay, now we're approaching on the top of the hill at what we call Army Camp Hill. Yep. And on both sides there was barracks for the men to live in, and on the left side was a big tower with a big scope that looked for submarines offshore. One thing about World War II was that you had to have your blinds dark so that at night no light would shine out. And so Edgar Perry, who was the game warden at the time, he also had a deal with Army that he would go around through the neighborhood and check lights at night. If he saw a light through your windows, he'd come knock on the door and tell you had to secure your lights. Behind me is the Kitty Hawk United Methodist Church. It's been here for years. And I remember when it was just a wooden church and high steps in the front. And at that time, I got married in 1954, and that's where I was married. I have a picture of my wife and I standing on the steps. So our last stop today is the Kitty Hawk School, which was incorporated with the Up the Road School and the Down the Road School and became what is known as the Kitty Hawk School. That's where I went to school. And also for the kids all the way from Calves Inlet to down to Nag's Head, I came to this school. This is about the location somewhere in this area where Otilla was to my right and Kitty Hawk was to my left, and somewhere in this area is where that division was.
Cliff Perry graduated from Kitty Hawk School in 1955. well after the Otilla Post Office closed up shop and the village became stuff of legend. By the 1950s, roads were improving and people were discovering life by the sea. Change was coming to the village of Kitty Hawk, but some things have never changed. The sense of community, family, and history that was so much a part of Kitty Hawk life when Cliff was growing up is still what makes the town a special place.
Treasure memories in Corolla Outer Banks. Go to CorollaNC.com.
Every place has a story. Stories of romance, drama, adventure, stories of life. Find your story at visitcurrituck.com.
My name is John Carter. I'm from Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. I am a surfer, surf photographer, environmentalist. The marine life found in our oceans deserves everyone's respect. It's important to remember that the ocean is home to many beautiful and sometimes dangerous marine life. Dangerous interactions with such marine life can be easily prevented with a few local tips. Always swim near a lifeguard. Shuffle your feet as you walk in the water to avoid skates and rays. Don't swim too far from the shore. Avoid water at night, dawn, or dusk. Stay clear of any wildlife swimming in the water. Avoid waters being fished and those with schools of bait fishes. Diving seabirds are a good indicator of such activities. Live like a local, love the beach, and respect the ocean.
Text OBX Beach Conditions to 77295 to sign up for daily beach forecast and condition reports. For terms of service and privacy policy, visit obxalerts.com.
Here in Corolla, we have a wonderful nautical and maritime history that's closely linked to the beginnings of the United States Life-Saving Service. Right here in our shadow, we have also the lighthouse. And the reasons those institutions give us to this day such a wonderful heritage is because of their linkage to a wonderful maritime trade that occurred for years off the coast of North Carolina, primarily in the age of sail. Many of you are probably familiar with the phrase graveyard of the Atlantic, and the reason for that is the very treacherous sandbars and tough weather that occurred with so much regularity just off the coast. In fact, the reason for the existence of this lighthouse and this life-saving station was to protect the lives of those folks who became shipwrecked on these shores. Even to this day, an aerial tour of the Outer Banks reveals hundreds of shipwrecks off the coast. We're very proud to this very day of our connection with our nautical and maritime history here in Corolla. The life-saving service in and of itself is pretty simple to understand. In the age of sail, as ships plied the North Carolina coast en route, for example, from Cuba to New York, from New York to Charleston, as you came around the Cape Hatteras Outer Banks, which juts pretty far out into the Atlantic, famous for wind, of course, because of the Wright brothers, these ships would come into distress and hazard themselves upon the sandbars and become lodged on the sandbars. The life-saving stations usually were about 6 to 8 miles apart, and the surfmen of these stations were called surfmen because they literally waded into the surf to help victims of shipwrecks, would patrol these beaches on foot. and many of the stations had small towers where one individual could get a vantage point of a broader expanse of the sea, and then foot patrols would look for shipwrecks. And when we would find these things frequently at night, hence the lighthouses, the surfmen would immediately take actions to begin to wade into the surf and in many cases swim out to these shipwrecks. If they were closer to a station, horses would bring down what were called Lyle guns that could shoot chairs out into the rigging of a ship and transfer people from the shipwreck to the beach. We see that in today's Navy, as ships will call breaches buoys and transfer personnel between ships. That's what occurred, and that's why they were called surfmen. These life-saving stations, which dot the coast of North Carolina and in many cases the eastern United States, have very much of a military connection. In fact, the very forerunner of what today is the United States Coast Guard was a combination of, at the time, the Revenue Cutter Service, that was the ship side of the Coast Guard, the Life-Saving Service, which was the land side, saving those shipwreck victims, and then the lighthouse service. And at a point in time, those three things came together and became the United States Coast Guard, which saves lives locally to this very day. The Coast Guard, as we know, is a military connection. The life-saving service, lighthouse service, and many of our ships at sea have that same military connection directly linked to Corolla. Corolla, for example, just north of here, the Washwood Station up in the four-wheel drive community was built in 1917, just recently celebrated 100 years. World War I was occurring at the time, war off the coast of North Carolina. The Congress of the United States appropriated some additional money during wartime to build more of those stations. So the life-saving station that's right here in the parking lot is the original Kill Devil Hills life-saving station. Originally was built in 1878, one of the oldest wooden buildings on the Outer Banks, very close to where the Wright Monument is today. In 1986, the owners of that station decided they wanted to move forward with another vision for their piece of property, and they contacted my father and said, if you come get this station and haul it away, we'll give it to you for free. So my father cut it into 4 pieces and moved it up Duck Road, and that was a very different time when you could still move things up a very simple 2-lane road, and reassembled it here in Corolla. It is the original building and is maintained to this day in the same architecture and the same character as the station would have looked when John T. Daniels and members of that famous surfman crew helped the Wright brothers create modern aviation. In many cases, the life-saving stations themselves became the heartbeat of community. I jokingly say they were the community colleges of the Outer Banks before we had a community college. They had kitchens, they had family members, they had surfmen. The surfmen would in many cases live in the station seasonally during bad weather, which meant the fall, the winter, and the springtime. In summertime, we have much calmer weather. That's when the surfmen would commercial fish, commercial hunt, make nets, and do other things to earn a living. But the stations themselves were very much the educational system and the social center of the community. In fact, as you look up and down the Outer Banks to this day, many of our towns directly trace their beginnings to a life-saving station. So it's a remarkable maritime heritage up and down the Outer Banks.
Most golf courses try to take their design from their surroundings. Seascape Golf Links is no exception. What is exceptional, though, is how the sand dunes and maritime forest combine to create beautiful, playable coastal links. With dramatic elevation changes and ocean views, Seascape Golf Links, an 18-hole championship golf course, milepost 2.5 in Kitty Hawk. Call for tee times and ask about midday specials. 261-2158. 261-2158. Seascape Golf Links, a must-play for those who love the game.
We have a basic human need to feel connected to nature, to the idea of something bigger, to one another. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, a chain of barrier islands shaped by wind and water, connected by the elements, just open spaces and endless possibilities.
Discover the Dovetail Collection by Vaughn Bassett exclusively at Outer Banks Furniture. Made in the Virginia mountains using solid American white oak, Dovetail wood joinery dates back thousands of years. The collection is designed for those who appreciate the natural look of reclaimed wood with its cracks, knots, and bold grain patterns. Each piece is available in 3 finishes and is meticulously crafted for exceptional strength to give you long-lasting beauty. Find the Dovetail Collection from Vaughn Bassett exclusively at Outer Banks Furniture, Milepost 1 in Kitty Hawk.
Just across the Wright Memorial Bridge on the Currituck mainland, you'll find one-of-a-kind shopping, dining, and recreational experiences await you. Don't let memories you'll treasure pass you by on the road to the Outer Banks. Find your treasure at visitcurrituck.com.
Treasure memories in Corolla Outer Banks. Go to CorollaNC.com.
My name is Terry Kirby Hathaway. I'm the Marine Education Specialist for North Carolina Sea Grant. I've lived out here on the Outer Banks for over 30 years and been beachcombing all that time. Such a wonderful place to beachcomb in all seasons of the year because you never know what's going to wash up. One thing that you find every day out here are oyster shells. What's really interesting is these oyster shells are probably at least 12 to 15,000 years old. They're fossils and people don't even realize it. You'll see baby's ears, which looks just like a tiny little baby's ear. We find moon snails or shark eyes. A lot of times you may find other kinds of bivalve mollusks or ones with 2 shells that have a perfectly round hole drilled in the shell. And it is a drilled hole, and it was drilled by a moon snail because they are voracious predators. And they drill with their tongue, which is covered with teeth. It's called a radula. And they can drill through the shell and get in and eat the animal. You can also find whelks. A lot of people refer to them as conchs, but conch is a Greek word for shell. We do not have true conchs in North Carolina. That's further south, down in Florida and the Caribbean. We have whelks, and we have 3 different species up here on the Outer Banks. We have a left-handed whelk. We have 2 right-handed whelk. So it coils to the right or coils to the left. 2 different animals, both whelks, but the one that curves to the left is called a lightning whelk. The one that opens on the right, this one, is a knobbed whelk. And you can see the knobs on it. Then we have another one that opens on the right. Both of these, but if you look at the top, this one has knobs, the knobbed whelk. This one has a channel around the top. So that's the channeled whelk. But one of the favorites that is very rare to find here, and it's a real treasure if you find one, is a Scotch bonnet, which is North Carolina's state seashell. Another thing you may see are egg cases for some of the animals that live offshore. The whelks that I mentioned lay their eggs in long strings of capsules. In each capsule is 25 to 50 little miniature whelks. We also find skate egg cases, which are also called devil's pocketbooks or mermaid's purses, the little black pouches. The best place to find all these shells is right at the water's edge. The time to go for shelling or beachcombing, looking for beach class, anything, is about 2 hours before and after low tide.
My name is Dana Thomason, and I work at the NC Aquarium on Roanoke Island. I'm actually part of the Education Department in Special Activities, and we oftentimes will find lots of sea turtles stranded here at the beach. It is cold sun season, so we're going to have turtles that are what we'd like to call hypothermic. Their body temperatures have gone below a certain point. When beachcombers come, they might see a sea turtle stranded. They actually want to contact NEST. So NEST is actually a network for endangered sea turtles, nonprofit organization that we actually work very closely with our Star Center. So that's where we have a really cool area at the aquarium, and they are volunteers that are trained through the Wildlife Resource Commission, and they'll actually contact Star Center and get things ready for an intake. We'll often find other larger animals, particularly marine mammals such as dolphins, whales, occasionally seals. you would actually contact the Marine Mammals Training Network. So that's another number that they would need to call. Another species you might find here in the Outer Banks, we have other types of birds that are here on our shores. They're resting, this is their natural behavior. So when beachcombers come to the beach, we actually would prefer all of our guests to kind of give them their space for the protection of those animals and respecting them as they're here on the beach.
For over 40 years, I've dreamed of building a bigger and better Jolly Roger.
And now your dream is a reality.
Yay!
Carol Ann has transformed the Jolly Roger into the hottest new restaurant and bar that is the best venue on the beach for great entertainment, gaming tables, and NTN games.
My dream has come true, and I can't wait to share our new restaurant and bar with you.
Come see us at the new Jolly Roger.
It's classic Outer Banks.
The Jolly Roger Restaurant.
Better sleep means a better life. That's why Outer Banks Furniture offers Simply Luxe from Mattress Grove. Luxurious handcrafted sleeping comfort that's made in America. Simply Luxe gives you pressure-relieving layers, temperature-regulating airflow, spinal-aligning back support with 5 unique support feels for ultimate comfort. Start sleeping better today. Simply Luxe goes the extra mile to hand-tuft many of its models for unparalleled support and durability. Find the complete collection of Simply Luxe mattresses at Outer Banks Furniture, Milepost 1 in Kitty Hawk.
Some people say the Outer Banks has the best fishing spots. Some people talk too much. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, conveniently located just beyond compare.
Something that people love about Edenton, including myself, is our beautiful architecture, our walkable streets, our safe downtown, and the fact that we are so hospitable. Beyond its historic legacy and beautiful architecture, Edenton is known for its strong sense of community. Our small town has a big heart, and we have always come together like a family. From saving our historic cupola house in 1918 to saving the Taylor Theater almost a century later. As close-knit as we are, we still love company and are eager to welcome others to experience Edenton for themselves. We have a community that's interested in preserving not only history, but exactly what Edenton has to offer, which is something rare, and without that community, we wouldn't be what we are today. Something that both visitors and locals get to capitalize on is our beautiful waterfront. Not only is the walkability safe and easy here in Edenton, but you don't have a bad view. You can walk up and down our waterfront, and from any angle, it's exactly the way you'd want to see it. Our historic trolley tour is a 55-minute tour that takes you through the historic district. We have the Roanoke River Lighthouse and many other gems that are still able to be preserved today. When you get to our downtown waterfront, you'll be greeted with the Penelope Barker House and Welcome Center, our Roanoke River Lighthouse, the Cupola House, streets lined with shops eager to have you come in, and some unique dining experiences made just for you. Whether you're in one of our local coffee shops, bakeries, or shopping downtown, you'll always find a friendly face and someone to help you along your way here in Edenton.
Oh, Santa here. Do you know that the Christmas Shop and General Store has the largest display of Christmas gifts and ornaments in the Outer Banks? Nutcrackers, collectible Santas, snowing Christmas trees, personalized ornaments, and so much more. A room full of gifts that remind you of your pets, a nativity display that'll blow you away. It's surely a destination that brings joy to so many. We can't wait to see you at the Christmas Shop and General Store.
Around the corner from the Albemarle Sound, Edenton Bay provides a scenic backdrop to its namesake town. Once a port for North Carolina's first colonial capital, today the waters attract travelers looking for calm, not commerce. And Edenton welcomes boaters with free boat slips for 2 nights. Whether by sea or land, let our historic lighthouse guide you to a relaxing bay that's a world away. Find your Eden in Edenton, the South's prettiest small town.
I'm Roland McDevitt with the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary and the American Canoe Association.
And I'm Jules from Kitty Hawk Kites. We'd like to welcome you to the Outer Banks of North Carolina, truly a boater's paradise.
In the next few minutes, we'll count down the top 10 things you can do to make kayaking adventures as satisfying and safe as possible. Number 1, wear your life jacket. The Coast Guard requires you to have a properly fitted life jacket readily available on your kayak. And if you're under 13, you must be wearing your life jacket at all times while paddling. A life jacket only works if you're wearing it, and it's difficult to put it on while you're in the water. 85% of people who die in boating accidents were not wearing the life jacket at the time of the accident.
Number 2, other required gear. The Coast Guard also requires that you carry a sound-producing device. An inexpensive whistle attached to your life jacket meets this requirement. A white light is also required if you're on the water at night. If there's a chance you may not return before sundown, take along a waterproof flashlight so that other boaters can see you.
Number 3, buddy up. While you may not be venturing far from shore, paddling with a buddy gives you peace of mind that if anything happens, assistance is nearby. Stay close to your buddy or group so that you can enjoy the company and assist when needed.
Number 4, file a float plan. Make sure that a friend or family member on shore is aware of your plans. Let them know where you're headed, who's in your group, when you expect to return, and what to do if you do not return on time. And be sure to let them know when you're safely back on shore.
Number 5, bring your phone. Charge your phone and bring it along in a waterproof pouch. Save the number for the Coast Guard station at Oregon Inlet so that you can call them in case of emergency. That number is 252-441-6260. And consider a VHF radio. A waterproof VHF radio gives you immediate access to other boaters and the Coast Guard on Emergency Channel 16. It is designed for a marine environment.
Number 6, know the environment. Check the weather, especially the wind, and stay close to shore. In the Sound, wind can carry you away from land and make it difficult to return. It is always best to paddle into the wind and return with the wind at your back. In the ocean, surf can quickly capsize a kayak and rip currents can carry you out. A sit-on-top kayak is much easier to re-enter if you do capsize. Assess the conditions when you arrive and look for another place to paddle if you're not confident that your skills are a match for the conditions.
Number 7, dress for the environment. Hot weather calls for clothing and gear that can protect you from sun exposure. Cover up, use sunblock, and bring your sunglasses. Cold water immersion can result in cold water shock and hypothermia, even when the air temperature is comfortable. Wool and synthetics provide the best insulation when wet. Neoprene or a dry suit are the best protection from cold water immersion. It's particularly important that you stay close to shore when the water is cold.
Number 8, practice self-rescues. Before you get too far from the launch, jump off your kayak and practice getting back on. Be sure your paddling partner is nearby. This will give you the confidence you need in case you capsize during your adventure. If you fall off and can't get back on, stay with your kayak. Distances are deceiving, and the best bet is to hold onto your kayak until help arrives.
Number 9, bring water. Paddling in the sun, wind, and waves can tire you out quickly. Make sure to bring plenty of water. Take a break every 20 minutes to take a drink and take in the scenery.
Number 10, have fun. You're now prepared for a great day on the water. You'll be paddling in one of the world's most diverse marine environments, and whether you're on the Sound, on a river, or out in the ocean, you're well equipped for a safe and satisfying day on the water. Enjoy.
What lies beneath the surface? The waters of the Outer Banks share their secrets, one cast at a time. Total relaxation, absolute exhilaration. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, a chain of barrier islands shaped by wind and water, connected by the elements, just open spaces and endless possibilities.
The Outer Banks is unique. When we come down here, we can just relax.
When we were kids, we'd spend as much of the summer here as we could.
It's a lot of fun and cool things to do.
Yeah, I just like the area a lot. Always have.
We've been here in the spring, we've been down here at Thanksgiving, we've been down here at Christmas.
I have been coming here ever since I was a baby. Yep, and every year I love the Outer Banks.
I mean, this is more home to me than where I grew up.
The Outer Banks of North Carolina stir the soul.
Connected to mainland North Carolina, yet seemingly a world away, Edenton is known as the prettiest small town in the South. Time passes slowly in the state's first colonial capital. The lure of historic sites, outdoor adventure, and friendly people draws visitors from near and far, whether by car or boat. Let our lighthouse be your beacon to a relaxing getaway on the Albemarle Sound. Find your Eden in Edenton, North Carolina, the South's prettiest small town.
One thing about fishing piers, we're kind of the bleacher seats of the fishing industry. We're the place where kids go for the first time. They'll rent a rod, we have bait and everything else. We show them how to use it, and a lot of times they'll catch their first fish. And that's a real thrill, going out there watching a kid yelling and screaming, caught his first fish, and we take pictures of it, but it's really neat. My name's Gary Oliver. I own the Outer Banks Pier. I've been here for 50 years now, which is hard to believe. Piers in North Carolina have played an important role along the coast in all the towns. They've been kind of the focal point. There used to be 30 piers along the coast. Now we're down to less than 20. And part of that is due to erosion and storms. And it's tough to maintain a pier, but I've been lucky. We've been, with 50 years I've been here, we've had a number of storms. Hurricane Isabel, we lost the most. But we've been able to repair it, keep it going, and it's been a joy.
One of the great things about fishing piers is that they create their own ecosystem, their own habitat. They actually attract the things that the fishermen are interested in. So barnacles grow on the pilings. The fish that eat those barnacles hover around the pilings, and the fish that eat those fish, the large game fish, move in, and that's what encourages fishermen to want to fish from fishing piers. Our goal is to encourage more people to care about and respect nature by putting them in touch with it on a daily basis. Here at Jeanette's Pier, we do that through fishing, education, and research. We promote ethical angling, catch and release, and taking only what you're going to eat that day so that you can come back tomorrow and do it all over again. We also encourage an appreciation of other wildlife that we see on a daily basis here, our sea turtles, shorebirds, and marine mammals.
My name is Brian Kearns. I'm the general manager at Nags Head Fishing Pier. We have a great diversity of fish located on this pier, which is kind of phenomenal throughout the year. Starts off in about May. We usually get a lot of speckled trout, some sea mullets, and stuff like that. Later in the year, our big fish show up with our, cobias, king mackerels, which do pin rigging on the end of the pier. Later in the year, goes into drum fishing, which is in October. It's one of the big draws. The Outer Banks is one of the drum capitals of the world. It's one of the few places you can come down and catch, 40, 50-pound giant class bull redfish. You can come out, you can catch what you want, have a good time, make some memories with your family.
Back in the 70s, we had a lot of farmers, and we had just a lot of people, they needed to catch fish to put in their freezers. Well, now it's more of an activity. It's not something that they do to feed themselves. So there's been a big change. And I've had a congressman out there fishing next to a guy who was homeless. It's just, we get people from all walks of life.
One of our favorite things about fishing piers is that they originally were cultural and social centers of the community. The North Carolina Aquariums felt it was important to preserve this place here at Jeanette's Pier because we didn't want to lose that cultural and social center. Obviously, it's important to maintain access to the recreational fishery. The advantage of fishing piers is that we do that at an affordable price, so an entire family can enjoy a day on the water.
You do not have to have a fishing license to fish off the pier. We have a blanket license that's provided to you, the fee that you pay to come on the pier. If you only want to try to fish for a day, have a day, where you don't have anything else to do, you want to spend it outside, over top of the water with a beautiful atmosphere, a beautiful view, you don't need to go buy a fishing license. You can come down, we offer all of that to you, free of charge, and we also have everything you would need to get exactly what you want to have done.
That's one of the really good things about a pier is the people you see every year, year after year, the same group come back and forth. I've got 4th generations now coming down to the pier. I'm getting older, but it's great. I've enjoyed it. It's been a great thrill for me to be here.
PlayOBXGolf.com is your gateway to a great golf vacation on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Stretched between the Sound and the Atlantic Ocean, the Outer Banks offers a one-of-a-kind coastal golf experience. 5 award-winning courses and well-appointed golf accommodations in a picturesque setting make the Outer Banks the perfect choice for your next golf getaway. And fall is the perfect time to experience the best weather and the best course conditions of the year. Your golf trip to North Carolina's Outer Banks is just a click away at PlayOBXGolf.com.
Santa here again for the Christmas shop and general store. The general store has long been a favorite destination within our shop. You'll find favorites like candies and fudge, Heights chocolates, and ready-made Bavarian nuts. Plus, we offer a wide selection of made in North Carolina items, old-time candy, sodas, and more. And our wine section has an even larger selection than last year. With more wine tasting opportunities, it's all part of the experience at the Christmas shop and general store.
Did you know that weed slows reaction time and impairs motor skills and coordination? Weed also disrupts learning and problem-solving skills. Whether you're a basketball player, surfer, skater, or student with other life goals, Outer Banks Hope Coalition reminds you to live life in focus. Don't let weed blur your dreams.
Do we mark time by what comes before and after? Or is it this moment and what we do with it that truly matters? The Outer Banks of North Carolina starts every day with an open invitation to explore, to pursue unknown outcomes, and challenge curiosities, to stir the soul with open spaces and endless possibilities.
The Corolla Wild Horse Fund was formed in 1989 by a group of grassroots volunteers who had a deep concern about the wild horses who have lived here for 5 centuries getting hit by vehicles as the area became more and more developed. We have evolved now to the point where we have full-time staff, and our mission is to preserve and protect the last remaining registered colonial Spanish Mustangs left in the world.
How the wild horses of Corolla found their way onto the Outer Banks has always been a mystery. Karen felt that understanding their origin would help with the process of saving those remaining.
I looked into the North Carolina archives, and there are actually, we benefited because the Spaniards kept very meticulous ship's logs. And many ships that came over here, because this was basically uncharted water, ran aground on sandbars. And in order to lighten the load and refloat the ship, the heavy things went overboard, and one of the heavy things that went overboard was horses. And we know that every Spanish ship that came over to this part of the New World had horses on board. Some of the horses obviously were able to swim ashore because these sandbars that run off the island, the water's very shallow. If you watch people swimming in the ocean, they can be out quite far and only be up to their knees. So, and also there are 2,000 shipwrecks on the bottom of the Outer Banks, all up and down the coast. It's called the Graveyard of the Atlantic. And so it stands to reason that some horses were able to survive a shipwreck and swim ashore, and some are simply left behind when colonies failed. We do not interfere with them in any way unless it is a life-threatening or quality of life issue. We do not supplementally feed them in the winter. They're on their own. They're like deer and any other wild animal that lives here.
I'm the herd manager, so it's my job to actually go out, monitor, assess, count, maintain a healthy herd of wild horses. We have 138 horses here. And from my standpoint, it's very important to be able to evaluate an animal and to make sure that that animal is healthy, and therefore we can make a decision that can benefit that animal if the animal needs care. I think what's unique is the environment in which they live in. They're still horses, but how they get their daily and nutritional needs met is completely different than a domestic horse. So it's not necessarily understanding horses by themselves. It's being able to understand natural resources and the horses and the ecology between the two. People enjoy horses, hands down, and it's a beautiful sight to see them on the beach, especially if you were to look here and you were to see them adjacent to the water and the ocean. I mean, that's a beautiful sight, and I think everybody would be fortunate to see that. This herd of horses, they're living in an environment that we as people like to enjoy, especially in the summertime. So because of that, people have decided to make some of this their vacation spot or home. And they have acquired the land that the horses reside on. And that's a challenge because when you construct or develop a home, those horses lose resources that they need.
The area at Corolla where the horses have traditionally thrived has become a very popular holiday destination. The beach itself is designated as a highway, with hundreds of holidaymakers as well as locals using it as a thoroughfare. The land adjoining the beach is increasingly being built upon, and as the Outer Banks are separated from the mainland by a wide stretch of lagoon, the wild horses have learned to live amongst the trappings of a modern society.
There is a lot of interaction. And you know, for the most part, I think it goes back to education. People come here to see horses, and they, for the most part, I would say they try to be respectful and give them their space, but I don't think they really have a true understanding of what it means to be a horse here. And so, if we could only talk to those horses, we would know a little bit more. I've come to appreciate all breeds of horses versus just one breed of horse. I came from a traditional quarter horse background, but since I've been here, I've been exposed to a unique horse that is definitely hardy. I think what's special about these horses is the environment in which they live in and how they have adapted to that environment. This can be a harsh place to live. In the wintertime, it's very cold. In the summertime, it's brutally hot. We have a lot of insects and biting flies, and I can only imagine if you were to compare these horses to a domestic horse, these horses, they're not cared for like a domestic horse, so it could be a challenge living in this environment. How they've adapted to it is amazing. And then how they've adapted to the people also. That's unique itself.
They're a very adaptable breed, otherwise they still wouldn't be here 5 centuries later. They've survived massive hurricanes, brutal nor'easters, insects, defied the diseases that affect other horses. But now they're having to deal with an influx of people. There are already about 700 homes constructed up there. There are 3,150 platted lots, and on any given day in the summer there can be 3,000 vehicles driving on the beach because the beach is the public road and that's how people have access to their houses. Our goal is to keep them wild and free as long as we possibly can. And that in itself presents a challenge because they are in an area where 70% of the land is privately owned, has been developed to a certain extent, and has the potential for more development as the years go by.
I think if we don't come up with a plan that considers the landscape, the horses, the people, I don't feel comfortable with their future here. Well, if we're going to be stewards of the horse, we need to come up with the solution. It's just like if we were to take on ownership of any other horse, we've decided to take on the responsibility of that animal. So if we're going to manage or take responsibility for these horses, yes, I think we owe them. Because we have deemed ourselves as the stewards of the horse.
Tide's starting to come in now.
What's up, guys? Looks like you found a good spot for us. Yeah!
Hey! I see mullet.
There's more to the story at rawobx.com.
For over 40 years, I've dreamed of building a bigger and better Jolly Roger.
And now your dream is a reality.
Yay!
Carol Ann has transformed the Jolly Roger into the hottest new restaurant and bar that is the best venue on the beach for great entertainment, gaming tables, and NTN games.
My dream has come true, and I can't wait to share our new restaurant and bar with you.
Come see us at the new Jolly Roger.
It's classic Outer Banks.
The Jolly Roger Restaurant.
PlayOBXGolf.com is your gateway to a great golf vacation on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Stretched between the Sound and the Atlantic Ocean, the Outer Banks offers a one-of-a-kind coastal golf experience. 5 award-winning courses and well-appointed golf accommodations in a picturesque setting make the Outer Banks the perfect choice for your next golf getaway. And fall is the perfect time to experience the best weather and the best course conditions of the year. Your golf trip to North Carolina's Outer Banks is just a click away at PlayOBXGolf.com.
My name's Al Adam, and I'm currently president of the North Carolina Beach Buggy Association. The association was actually chartered in Nags Head in 1964 with a mission of maintaining access for ORVs on the beaches of the Outer Banks and all of North Carolina. The name of our association doesn't truly reflect what we do. Most of our members, our 3,500 plus members, drive pickup trucks or sport utility vehicles, not actually beach buggies per se. The driving on the beach became popular with the advent of commercially available four-wheel drives. That happened in the late 60s to mid 70s. Prior to that, the four-wheel drive industry was mostly military vehicles, which did go back to the early 1900s, but they were rarely seen for public purchase. Prior to four-wheel drive vehicles, many people drove the beaches of the Outer Banks to go fishing, do various things that they enjoyed on the beach. They did it with two-wheel drive vehicles, and they did it by running very low air pressure, maintaining a footprint on the sand, much like putting a snowshoe on in snow, something to reduce the PSI pressure on the sand to give you a flotation. The Hatters didn't have a paved road the length of the island until 1953 or 54. So if you wanted to travel up and down the island to the ferry at Oregon Inlet, you used the beach. And that was done primarily with two-wheel drive vehicles, including a bus service that regularly ran from Hatteras Village all the way up to Oregon Inlet to the ferry. Before the advent of four-wheel drive, if a fisherman wanted to get to his favorite remote spot that wasn't readily accessible by hiking, they would use a two-wheel drive vehicle. It was recommended to bring friends along with you because you were going to get stuck and you need somebody to help push. Four-wheel drive vehicles changed that game. So it's a privilege we like to maintain. We want to do that by promoting good beach driving ethics and by following the rules of the individual agencies that govern different parts of the beaches. It may be county, it may be municipality like Nags Head, it may be the National Park Service like Hatteras Island. The rules that they have are focused on safety and preserving the resource. No driving on the dunes. From a safety aspect, we want to be careful of pedestrians and other vehicles. The speed limit is 15 miles per hour. The single most important factor, air down. Low air will allow you to remain on top of the sand instead of burying in the sand. Please air down before you go on the ramp. We frequently see people stuck on the ramp. That doesn't help anybody. Air down prior to going on the beach. You'll do yourself, your vehicle, and other drivers a favor. Slow and easy wins the day on the beach. When you turn, you want to make as gradual a turn as possible. No sharp turns. turning your wheel sideways in the sand, you start to plow, and that slows you down and can lead to getting stuck. The only other thing that's always a good policy, unless you're the first guy on the beach for the day, it's fairly safe to follow somebody else's tracks. If somebody else has gone there, they've driven over it, and they're not stuck in the middle of those tracks, there's a good possibility that's a safe place to go. And other than that, slow and steady, low air pressure, you'll have a good day on the beach.
Nothing beats a day at the beach, but the power of the ocean deserves everyone's respect. So if you plan on going for a swim when the surf is rough,
why risk it? When in doubt, just stay out.
But if you do decide to take a dip,
warning flags are flying for a reason. Listen to the lifeguards. Stay out.
Hey ladies, if you're an experienced swimmer and think you can safely handle the surf,
even the most experienced swimmers can get caught in a rip current and swept out to sea. Stay on the shoreline.
if the waves are rough, be sure to take a flotation device, such as a raft or a bodyboard.
Rafts and boards aren't designed to save your life. If the surf is rough, just play it safe and stay out.
Well, there you have it. Make sure your Outer Banks vacation is a memorable one for all the right reasons.
Know before you go by checking the daily OBX beach conditions forecasts. Watch for rip current warnings and listen to the lifeguard. When the red flags are flying, stay safe by staying on the beach and out of the water.
Live like a local and love the beach, respect the ocean.
My name is Karen Spruill, and I'm the chef here at the Time and Tide Cafe, and today we are going to be making a North Carolina style pimento cheese. What you will need for your pimento cheese is 8 ounces of cream cheese, 2 cups of cheddar cheese, a half a cup of Parmesan cheese, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, a pinch of black pepper, a pinch of salt, a half a teaspoon of deli mustard, and the pimentos. When you start your pimento cheese, you need to take out your cream cheese for about an hour before you make it so it'll get nice and soft. Then we want to add our cheddar cheese, our Parmesan cheese, our Worcestershire, our black pepper, deli mustard, a pinch of salt, and the pimentos, which I roasted earlier today. We knead it together with your hands. You marry it together and mix it together until you don't see the white of the pimento cheese, because it'll all be blended in. And what gives us this color is the pimentos along with the cheddar. What makes this pimento cheese is so good is that it's got so much flavor. The pimentos bring it out. You can't really taste the mustard or the Worcestershire sauce. It's just the blend of all the cheeses in there together. You can put it in a sealed container, and it'll be good for a week in the refrigerator, up to 7 days. A lot of people will do a grilled cheese with it. They will have a grilled cheese with bacon with it. Other than that, it's just a sandwich, or we'll take and put a small scoop out with crackers as a snack.
Capacity to explore a passion while learning from the greatest to ever do it. Reliability to make those who are far away feel like they never left. Speeds for fueling moments of discovery while sparking curiosity. It's not just internet, it's a gateway to opportunities you never even knew existed. Ripple Fiber, multiplying potential for you, your family, and the community.
In a world of ordinary vacations, live the extraordinary. Book the real Outer Banks.
Despite what you've heard, 911 cannot locate you immediately when calling from a cell phone. Do you know the street address of your location in the event of an emergency? When you call 911, we don't either, unless you can tell us.
Just across the Wright Memorial Bridge, you'll find one-of-a-kind experiences await you. Don't let memories you'll treasure pass you by on the road to the Outer Banks. Take a day and find yourself on the Currituck mainland.
Welcome to Cape Hatteras Lighthouse. You all are going to be climbing the tallest brick lighthouse in North and South America. So we're going to be going up 257 stairs, and it's the equivalent of climbing a 12-story building. So I hope you did your stretches for this morning. Let's go ahead and get started. So this is the fuel storage tank, and this is where they would store all of the kerosene fuel to light the Fresnel lens that was lit up at the top. So the lighthouse keepers, they would have had to carry 2 40-pound fuel canisters up the lighthouse with them. So there's 8 landings in the lighthouse, and those were designed for the lighthouse keepers to stop, set their oil tanks down, and take breaks, which is what we're going to do today. So these stairs were all replaced in 2008. They used the original molding, so it looks very similar to the original, but it's the new cast iron. There are alternate landings all the way up throughout the lighthouse, and on each landing there's a window. There's a north-facing view and a south-facing view. So they provided these windows for us because obviously there was no electricity, so it provided a lot of light for the lighthouse keepers, and also to get some nice airflow circulation throughout the lighthouse. The windows during the summer, when the lighthouse opens in the 3rd Friday of every April, the maintenance crew will open the windows and they'll stay open all summer long unless we have a big hurricane coming, then they'll come and close the windows. The next landing that we're going to be getting to is the halfway mark. So after this landing, we have 124 more stairs to climb. And you'll notice this piece of railing that is going through the center of the lighthouse. Now it's wired for electricity, but in the olden days we had a Fresnel lens that lit the light, and so there would have been 150-pound weights that would slowly descend through the middle of the lighthouse, and this railing would guide those weights down. So the momentum of those weights falling through the center would cause the Fresnel lens to spin, so it kind of worked as a grandfather clock. We actually had one of the last lighthouse keeper's daughters who grew up here, and she was telling us stories of how her and her sisters would swing from the weights side by side to play inside of the lighthouse, which was really neat. As they were building the lighthouse board wanted this lighthouse to be the most imposing and substantial lighthouse on the continent, if not the world. And so that's why they used only the finest materials to build the lighthouse. So when we get up to this landing, you'll notice the black slate and the white marble. That is on all of the landings. And so if you look really closely, you can see actually some fossils in the black slate. And then the base of the lighthouse was mined from a quarry in Vermont, and it's all granite on the base. So the lighthouse keepers had many jobs in the lighthouse, and one of them was giving tours to local residents. When the lighthouse was electrified in 1934, everybody wanted to come and see the electric light in the lighthouse. And so our last lighthouse keeper we had, Mr. Unaka Jeanette, he wrote in his journal that he gave 17 tours to locals throughout the day. So can you imagine climbing up and down the lighthouse 17 times in one day? You can see that the paint is chipping along the walls here. Typically every 5 years the lighthouse gets painted, and it was last painted in 2014. They used 450 gallons of paint to do that. The final staircase is a little bit different. There's no handrails, and there's a door that leads to up on the balcony, and this door was used for really gusty days or during storms. The lighthouse keepers could close that. That way the gusts coming up through the lighthouse wouldn't blow out the oil lamp. The lighthouse is still in operation to this day. We have a 7.5-second flash, and the light goes out into the ocean about 20 miles on a clear day. And it's still used as a second form of navigation, although a lot of mariners these days are using GPS in more modern form. This still serves as a confirmation for local fishing boats and mariners out at sea. And now we're entering to where the pedestal once stood. So the Fresnel lens would have been 12 feet high by 6 feet wide, and the base of it would have been right here where this table was. And this is closed to the public. Only the Coast Guard is allowed up there to change the bulbs twice a year. The bulb that is in the lighthouse now is 800,000 candle power. It's a 1,000-watt halogen bulb, and one bulb costs $240 to replace. We have now made it to the top, so welcome. This summer is really unique because we are celebrating the 20th anniversary of the lighthouse being moved here at Cape Hatteras National Seashore. And when you're up on top of the balcony, you can actually see where the lighthouse used to sit in its original location and the moving path that the lighthouse took to get here. So the lighthouse used to sit, if you can see that brown structure going into the ocean over there, that's the groin. There were a series of 3 of those built to help restore the beaches. And the lighthouse sat right in front of that first groin, right behind that grassy sand dune. You can kind of see a big sandy area. And this clear cut through the trees right here is the moving path that it took to get from all the way over there to right here where we are today. It was a 23-day long journey to move it 2,900 feet, so just over a half of a mile. 20 years ago, everything was moved, not just the lighthouse. So if you look down, you can see the 2 homes where the lighthouse keepers once lived. All of those buildings were moved as well, along with the sidewalk. So everything's in proportion to how it was set up in the old location. In the new location, it was put about 1,500 feet away from the ocean. And back in 1870, when this lighthouse was built in the old location, it was about 1,500 feet from the ocean then. And now you can see just how close the ocean is. So it's possible with Barrier Island migration and how these islands move, that in the next 80 to 100 years, we may be facing the same situation we did 20 years ago. You get a really great shot of Cape Point over here, and this was pretty much the main reason why we needed such a tall lighthouse in the area. We have two really major currents that are basically meeting right over there at the point. We have the Labrador Current that's flowing north to south with the really cold water, and then of course we have the Gulf Stream that is flowing south to north with that really warm water. And with those currents, they push a lot of sand and sediment, which builds underwater sand mountains basically. And some of these sand mountains can be about 250 feet high under the water. So mariners would be in really deep water, and then all of a sudden the bottoms of their boats would hit these big shoals under the water. And so this area out here is called the graveyard of the Atlantic because so many ships wrecked out along the shore here of the Outer Banks. We really hope to see you in person here on the grounds. The lighthouse is open for climbing daily until Columbus Day, October 14th. We are open 9 o'clock is the first climb every day, and you have to be here by 4:30 to get your last climb at 4:40 of the day. So thanks for visiting, and we hope to see you soon.
This isn't the everyday. This is an escape. An escape to somewhere wild. This is where roads end and adventures begin. Here, you put down the heaviness of life and dream, play, reflect, and spend time with the ones that matter most. Around every corner is a retreat where you can taste everything, fresh and local. This water paradise has preserved its past, and Southern charm lives on. Here, you can discover something rare, something unique, extraordinary, and wild. Find yourself again at visitcurrituck.com.
Around the corner from the Albemarle Sound, Edenton Bay provides a scenic backdrop to its namesake town. Once a port for North Carolina's first colonial capital, today the waters attract travelers looking for calm, not commerce. And Edenton welcomes boaters with free boat slips for 2 nights. Whether by sea or land, let our historic lighthouse guide you to a relaxing bay that's a world away. Find your Eden in Edenton, the South's prettiest small town.
Outer Banks Furniture is the leather expert on the beach and the only furniture store exclusively offering Omnia leather. With almost 200 different colors and styles to choose from, with unmatched design, comfort, and luxury, Omnia Leather only sources hand-picked top-grain hides from the oldest tanneries in the world, then creates the finest chairs, sofas, recliners, and accent pieces right here in the USA. Find the exceptional collection of Omnia Leather exclusively at Outer Banks Furniture, Milepost 1 in Kitty Hawk. Let's talk quality. Bench-made quality from American hardwoods and handcrafted in the USA. That's the Benchmade collection from Bassett, exclusively at Outer Banks Furniture. Each piece is meticulously crafted from Appalachian maple, cherry, or oak, and made to order one at a time by American artisans in Bassett, Virginia. From a live edge table to a sharp modern edge, Benchmade has your look. Find the Benchmade collection from Bassett exclusively at Outer Banks Furniture, Milepost 1 in Kitty Hawk.
I'm Barry Price for the town of Nags Head. Have you recently moved to Nags Head from outside our area and want to become a little more familiar with some of our unique cultural norms and what you can expect from life here on the OBX? Well, you're in luck. I'm here to show you how you can be as unique as the rest of us here. Here on the Outer Banks, we don't have a lot of streets, but we do have a lot of names for them. For example, I'm here at Nags Head's Dowdy Park at 3005 South Croatan Highway, AKA US 158, AKA the bypass. Well, what does the bypass, you ask? Well, when it was first built, Croatan Highway was designed to detour traffic past the main business districts, then lining the busy Virginia Dare Trail, AKA NC-12, AKA the Beach Road. Catch my drift? Ah, the milepost markers. Starting at milepost 1 near the Wright Memorial Bridge, the mileposts make it easier for newcomers to find businesses on the northern Outer Banks. But now that you know the difference between the bypass and the beach road, you likely won't need those milepost numbers anymore. Plus, they aren't much help in an emergency when first responders need an actual address to find you quickly. By the way, be sure to pass this tidbit along to your friends and family. Knowing the addresses of where you are, even when on the beach, is really important if there's an emergency. Dispatchers will be able to get help to you much quicker than if you say, I think I'm near milepost 16. Our beaches are some of the best on the East Coast, perfect for everyone to enjoy. But have you ever noticed that on some days the water is warm and clear, and on other days, well, the water is nearly frigid? That's upwelling. On the Outer Banks, upwelling happens when a strong offshore wind, like the southwest breezes we have here during the summer, pushes the warm surface water out to sea, allowing deeper, colder water to well up from below. Now that you're a Nags Head local, you can impress others with this kind of information. Speaking of the ocean, as an Outer Banker, you need to know how to spot and survive a rip current. And don't forget to share this information with friends and family. Remember, when red flags are flying, swimming in the ocean is prohibited. Check out lovethebeachrespecttheocean.com for more information on rip currents, or ask one of our lifeguards before heading in for a dip. If you see smoke plumes rising into the sky in late winter or early spring, chances are the smoke's coming from a prescribed burn on undeveloped public land nearby. These burns are used to keep the land's ecosystems healthy and our area's homes, businesses, infrastructure safe. Hurricanes are a fact of life here on the Outer Banks. Before every relative and friend calls you to ask about hurricanes bearing down on your new home, make sure you're prepared. What do I mean? Well, get your information from trusted official news sources, not John's weather forecasting or social media pages that just want to get you riled up. Instead, monitor the National Hurricane Center's website at nhc.noaa.gov, and for local weather forecasts, visit the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Newport Moorhead City's website at weather.gov/MHX. Follow the town of Nags Head, nagsheadnc.gov, and Dare County Emergency Management, darecountyem.com for local information, and sign up for their emergency alerts. Have your hurricane evacuation kit already prepared. Know your evacuation zone and route and where you plan to evacuate to. Be sure you have identification you need to return to Dare County, such as re-entry permit from Dare County Emergency Management. Visit their website, darecountyem.com, for more information. So there you have it. Let's keep these unique cultural norms between us, okay? Oops, I forgot one. Google sonic booms and then Google Seneca guns. You choose which one you want to believe. Welcome to Nags Head. Welcome to paradise.
out of the darkness, it still stands, guiding mariners on their way, a beacon of light for all to see. Find your light at visitcurrituck.com.
My name's David Elder. I've been a lifeguard in the Outer Banks since 1991. Before you head to the beach, know the weather conditions, make preparations, sunscreen, hydrate. Find out where your local lifeguard is. Swim near a lifeguard. If you find yourself caught in a rip, don't panic, float. Get the attention of the people on the beach, wait for help to arrive. If you are a strong swimmer, don't fight the rip currents. Swim parallel to the beach to break free of the current's hold. Then swim back to shore. Live like a local. Love the beach and respect the ocean.
Text OBX Beach Conditions to 77295 to sign up for daily beach forecast and condition reports. For terms of service and privacy policy, visit obxalerts.com.
There were two different means of rescue that these stations utilized. One was to launch a surf boat. The other is called the beach apparatus drill. What the beach apparatus drill consists of, a beach cart with a lot of lines, all this equipment, which is pulled out to the beach. They could fire this small cannon called a Lyle gun, and it could be fired out to the ship with a small line attached called the shot line.
So they would try to get the line up in the rigging so where somebody can grab it, tie it off, and then we can start pulling the other line. And once all those things are tied off, the whip line is attached to the pulley system so that the breeches buoy can come back and forth with the victims that are in it.
From about 1871 until 1954, when these stations were decommissioned and helicopters started sort of taking over, this means of rescue was used in the attempt to rescue about 178,000 people. The beach apparatus drill that we do here at Chickamaucomico, we always strive to be as close as we can to 100% historically accurate. It is a reenactment of the training that they did to prepare themselves for a rescue. But just like they did, we do it on Thursday afternoons at 2 o'clock. If you have kids between the ages of about 6 and 10 or 11 years old, when you come down here, there's a chance one of your kids may be chosen to ride in the breeches buoy. We rescue a kid every week.
Yo, what's up?
Gas siren!
What?
Oh, Vinny! Vinny just got, oh my God!
There's more to the story at rawobx.com.
Some people say the Outer Banks has the best fishing spots. Some people talk too much. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, conveniently located just beyond compare.
Better sleep means a better life. That's why Outer Banks Furniture offers Simply Luxe from Mattress Grove. Luxurious handcrafted sleeping comfort that's made in America. Simply Luxe gives you pressure-relieving layers, temperature-regulating airflow, spinal-aligning back support with 5 unique support feels for ultimate comfort. Start sleeping better today. Simply Luxe goes the extra mile to hand-tuft many of its models for unparalleled support and durability. Find the complete collection of Simply Luxe mattresses at Outer Banks Furniture, Milepost 1 in Kitty Hawk.
up Highway 12 to where the road ends and you'll find the legendary Corolla Wild Horses, iconic historical sites, unique shopping and dining, outdoor events, and more. Take a day and find yourself here.
Thomason, and I work at the NC Aquarium on Roanoke Island, and I work in the Education Department and Special Activities, and I work with our box turtles pretty much on a daily basis. And in case you're wondering what is a box turtle, it is a type of reptile we find here in North Carolina. This species is found all across the NC state, and he is actually an eastern box turtle. And some fun facts about box turtles is they can actually go inside their shell, so he has a very special adaptive trait. And it actually goes back to the 3 body parts to their shell. So the top part, we're gonna call it the carapace. All right, you can see that nice defined vertebrae. The bottom, we're gonna call it the plastron. All right, and it's the plastron that allows him to have a hinge that allowed the turtle to go completely inside. So that's his head, his arms, and his legs. And then lastly, what connects the two is called the bridge. And box turtles, they're really cool. You might find them in your backyard or in the forest. They are along the bottom looking for different type of food. They are omnivores, meaning they eat both plant and meat, but not a cheeseburger. These guys will actually eat a lot of insects like crickets, worms. Their favorite color will be red. So here at the aquarium, we feed them lots of tomatoes, strawberries, raspberries. That color just kind of draws them in. And box turtles have a couple of threats that they might face out in their habitat. The first one could be a type of maybe pollution. So pollution could be trash pollution, could be also their habitat loss. They no longer have their habitat to kind of go about and find food and have space and make lots of babies. And the last thing could be road mortality. So as the females, 'tis the spring season, they're out of their bromation period. They're gonna come up and they're gonna be wanting to lay their eggs on any type of land. And when that happens, sometimes they have to go over a road here at a developed island. So sometimes they might get hit by a car. If you see a box turtle trying to cross the road, what you can do is maybe with an adult with you is to help the turtle go to the side it's trying to get to. All right, if you're trying to put him to the opposite side, he's just gonna come right back over. So make sure if you see a turtle, make sure you have a parent with you and get him back over to where she's trying to go or he is trying to go. Another good thing is we like to say, let wild be wild. As turtles, they're really cute, but many of them do belong out in the wild in their habitat. They do play an important role in the ecosystem. So what you'll wanna do is make sure that they stay in their habitat if you do find a baby box turtle or an adult box turtle, because their habitat is like their home. Come on over to the NC Aquarium on Roanoke Island and learn much more about these turtle species like our box turtle, and we thank you guys for watching.
Oh, Santa here. Do you know that the Christmas Shop and General Store has the largest display of Christmas gifts and ornaments in the Outer Banks? Nutcrackers, collectible Santas, snow and Christmas trees, personalized ornaments, and so much more. A room full of gifts that remind you of your pets. A nativity display that'll blow you away. It's surely a destination that brings joy to so many. We can't wait to see you at the Christmas Shop and General Store. Oh, hello, Santa here at the Christmas Shop and General Store. Our elves have been busy again with all kinds of new rooms full of ornaments and gifts, like Whoville, the wondering world of Harry Potter, a new coastal room full of everything coastal like shells and glass ball ornaments, and a new room dedicated to everything Outer Banks, so you can take some of our magic back home with you. You have to come see it for yourself. 25,000 square feet of Christmas magic.
We have a basic human need to feel connected to nature, to the idea of something bigger, to one another. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, a chain of barrier islands shaped by wind and water, connected by the elements, just open spaces, endless possibilities.
Welcome to Jeanette's Pier, the family fishing spot on the Outer Banks. Make memories for a lifetime while reeling in the catch of the day. From bottom fishing for spot and croaker to jigging for bluefish and Spanish mackerel, experience the thrill of catching a fish from this 1,000-foot-long concrete ocean fishing pier located at milepost 16.5 in Nags Head. Have fun in the sun while fishing with your friends and family. Surf, sun, fish, and fun. Experience it all at Jeanette's Pier, where fishing is catching.
Hi everyone, I'm Claire and welcome to Wright Brothers National Memorial.
This is Fort Raleigh National Historic Site.
And Cape Hatteras National Seashore.
And welcome to the national parks of the Outer Banks of North Carolina. There's so much to do and see here, so let's check it out. Here at Wright Brothers National Memorial, we explore the story of Wilbur and Orville Wright, two brothers from Dayton, Ohio, who, through experimentation, hard work, dedication, perseverance, a little bit of failure, and a lot of learning, managed to fly the first ever controlled, powered, manned, heavier than air plane. Wilbur and Orville made the arduous journey here from Dayton, Ohio between 1900 and 1903. For the first 2 years, they were living in a tent, and the second 2 years, they were in a shack, and they actually had a kitchen to cook on. For the first 3 years that they were here, they weren't even doing any flying experiments. They were just gliding, trying to manage the control in the air. So they would jump off of Big Kill Devil Hill right behind me and try to get as far as they could. And finally in 1903, they decided that they had mastered control and they were going to move on to powering this thing. So they built an engine, they created propellers and put it onto their flyer. And it was finally on December 17th, 1903 that they made that successful first flight. Aviation technology took off in leaps and bounds after this first flight in 1903. Soon we were crossing the English Channel and then crossing oceans. Then we were flying around the world. And then we're into space. We go to the moon. Now we're on other planets. The Wright brothers' dream of getting into the air and pushing the limits on what was possible has inspired millions of people. Neil Armstrong, when he was on the moon, had in his pocket a piece of the original 1903 Wright brothers flyer, and now we have it in the museum today. And in fact, there's so much to do here. We have the museum, which explores the full story of the Wright brothers. We have the flight room with the reproduction of the 1903 original flyer. We also have the reconstructed camp building, so you can see what it would have been like to live and work here in the fall on the sand dune. We have the first flight boulder that marks the exact spot that Orville took off from the very first time. We have the monument at the top of Big Kill Devil Hill, the Art Deco style granite monument, on the same hill where they did their gliding experiments from. On the other side of the hill, we have the first flight sculpture, which was put in for the centennial of the first flight. And this is life-size, and you can walk among the people that were there that day, and it really captures the emotions well. There's so much to do and learn here, so hopefully I'll see you soon.
Here at Fort Raleigh, this is the site of the first English settlements in North America. If you've heard of Jamestown, if you've heard of the Pilgrims, this is the beginning of the story here. This is also the place where Algonquin people had lived for 800 years before they met and interacted with the English immigrants. This is a site during the Civil War where over 3,500 African Americans made their way to Roanoke Island and built what we call a freedmen's colony as they made their journey on the Underground Railroad. This is a place where you can step back in time and try to imagine what life was like. Can you imagine being an English colonist and stepping on board a wooden vessel, a small wooden vessel, and sailing for 3 months across an ocean to an unknown land? Can you imagine having lived here your whole life as an Algonquian, all of a sudden seeing these newcomers arriving and interacting with these different people from a different place? Can you imagine what it would be like for one of the Freedmen's Colony members to set foot on Roanoke Island and gain their freedom for the very first time? Fort Raleigh has a lot of different activities that you can enjoy. There's trails that you can walk. There are 2 soundside beaches that you can enjoy. There's a visitor center that has artifacts dating over 400 years old that have been found here in the park. There's ranger programs. You can join us and try to learn a little bit more about the lost colony and see if you can uncover that mystery for yourself. There's also picnic grounds and an outdoor theater called the Lost Colony Outdoor Drama. So if you're visiting in the summertime, you can come see Broadway outside.
Here at the seashore, we have 70 miles of beaches. And so most people who come to the seashore like to engage in beach activities, whether that's swimming, shell collecting, or just sunning themselves on the beach. But there's so much more to do here on the seashore than just what you typically would think of. Here at Hatteras National Seashore, there's so much cultural history that people don't realize, whether that be lighthouses and the light keepers themselves and their amazing history, life-saving stations, some of the war activity that's taken place from Civil War to World War I, World War II, all the way down to Blackbeard, the pirate. Is kind of Ocracoke Island was kind of a little home area for him, and that's actually where he perished. So there's plenty of things to learn about, but it's also not just history. There's a lot of nature and natural stuff to be able to do, whether that be sound side or ocean side. We have a lot of nesting shorebirds, and so people will come and check out those birds. But maybe even more popular is in the summertime the sea turtles, mostly loggerhead turtles, but there's a couple others. They come and nest here, and whenever those baby turtles kind of come out, and we call it a boil because there's so much activity. It's almost like a pot of water boiling, but to be able to see those little sea turtles race towards the beach is something spectacular. There's so much to do and learn here.
Whether you like to learn about history or science, like to get out and explore, like fishing or swimming, or just like to sit and relax, there's sure to be something exciting for you to do here in the national parks of the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
Despite what you've heard, 911 cannot locate you immediately when calling from a cell phone. Do you know the street address of your location in the event of an emergency? When you call 911, we don't either, unless you can tell us.
Just across the Wright Memorial Bridge on the Currituck mainland, you'll find one-of-a-kind shopping, dining, and recreational experiences await you. Don't let memories you'll treasure pass you by on the road to the Outer Banks. Find your treasure at visitcurrituck.com.
There are few things as refreshing or more relaxing than a ride across the Sound or the river on a North Carolina ferry. There's the smell of the salt air and the wind blowing through your hair. Some people ride every day on their way to and from work, or even to and from school. Some folks only get to ride the ferry once in a while when they're visiting the coast. And for those of you who have never been on a ferry before, today, we're going to ride not one, but a number of the different ferries in the Tar Heel State on this edition of My Heart Will Always Be in Carolina.
Jewelry by Gail is celebrating its 47th anniversary this year. In loving memory of Gail Kowalski, this hidden gem is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 5. A shop that has something for everyone, featuring Gail's signature styles, all types of gorgeous jewelry, men's rings, a unique bridal section where you can build your own engagement ring, the Outer Banks' largest pearl selection, and so much more. Come find the perfect look for that special someone at Jewelry by Gail in Nags Head.
This North Carolina Department of Transportation map shows all of the rivers and sounds that you would have to drive around when traveling through coastal Carolina if it were not for the North Carolina Ferry Service. We had an exciting idea. How many ferries can you ride in one day? To find out, we knew we would have to start early. It was going to be a challenge, but we were up for the test.
Welcome on board the W. Stanford White, one of 5 ferries we're going to ride today. On this leg of the journey, we're crossing over the Pamlico River from Bayview to Aurora. At the end of the day, we hope to cross the Currituck Sound to our final destination on Knott's Island.
The Pamlico River Ferry is one of the most important ferries in the system. As we will learn, many people who work on the other side of the river ride the ferry every day from Bayview to the mining operation on the other side. The ferry terminal at Bayview is located just a little southeast of historic Bath, North Carolina's oldest town. And at one time, the pirate Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard, called Bath his home. Bath was incorporated in 1705. A stroll down the historic street and through the waterfront park can be quite enjoyable. Now it's back to the W. Stanford White, on our way across the Pamlico River.
Tell us a little bit about your work here on the ferry and coming to work here every day.
Well, there's a lot worse places you could be to work. This is a pretty good job. The run is just 3 miles across, basically, and a lot of it is these workers that we carry working at that phosphate operation over there. They really depend on this ferry to get back and forth to work. Of course, there's tourists too, in the summertime particularly. There's a lot of tourists that come across here, making the connections to the other ferries. A lot of them like to come, make the circle around, ride the Cedar Island and the Cherry Branch, make that circle come all the way around.
I live over in Bath and I work over at PCS Phosphate in Aurora.
So you ride the ferry every day, and tell me about that and how important that is to your life and your work.
Okay, I ride the ferry most every day. The commute around from Bath is about an hour commute. The ferry ride's only a 25-minute ferry ride, and I'm only about 10, 12 minutes from my house. Fuel consumption, the way it is today, it's very positive for us to be able to ride the ferry, and with fuel prices, it saves us a lot of money.
This link in the North Carolina Ferry Service to connect NC Highway 306 across the Pamlico River began in 1966. The W. Stanford White can carry 40 vehicles and 300 passengers. She is 180 feet long. Over 400 employees work for the North Carolina Department of Transportation Ferry Division.
We're headed now to the ferry at Minnesota Beach.
As we have heard, Many of the daily passengers on the Pamlico River Ferry work at the phosphate mine in Aurora. Phosphorus is found in deposits containing ancient sea fossils. At one time, this area was under hundreds of feet of water. The first ferries in North Carolina began in the mid-1920s and were operated by private individuals. In the 1930s, the North Carolina Highway Commission began subsidizing these businesses to help keep toll costs down. In the late 40s and early 50s, the state purchased these ferry operations, and the North Carolina ferry system was born. The first official route of the North Carolina ferry system was from Roanoke Island to Mans Harbor, across the Croatan Sound back in 1947. There is no ferry service there today. 2 bridges now span the Sound to connect the island to the mainland.
Next, we'll be getting on this ferry at Minnesota Beach, which will take us over to Cherry Branch. We understand many of the people that ride the ferry in the morning and in the afternoon work at the Cherry Point Marine Air Station.
The ferry at Minnesota Beach completes NC 306 service across the Neuse River. This route was established in 1973. Minnesota Beach is a town in Pamlico County. One of the interesting things about this ferry is that it can sail in either direction. Each of the ferries sport the logo from one of North Carolina's universities. I'm looking for ECU. The run across the Neuse River is about 3 miles and takes about 20 minutes. When we disembark on the other side of the river, we will be in Carteret County. The North Carolina Department of Transportation's Ferry Division has 7 regular routes and over 20 ferries. At best, we think we'll be able to ride 5 today.
Welcome to the beach. Be sure of yourself and know your swimming limits. Don't go out too far without your mommy and daddy. Do what floats your boat. Always is afloat when you go in the ocean. Come out of your shell and talk to a lifeguard. They can help you. See life's beauty. Watch out for animals in the ocean. Don't get tied down. And watch for shore breaks. It can knock you down. Love the beach. Respect the ocean.
I'm Bo Rayner. I'm a professional surfer, and I've been doing it since I was about 2 years old, and I live in Nags Head, North Carolina. The power of the ocean deserves everyone's respect. Even on calm days, hard to see powerful rip currents are present up and down our coast. Every year, unsuspecting swimmers find themselves in the grip of a rip. Many lose their lives. Such tragic events can be easily prevented with a few local tips. Know before you go and check local beach forecasts before you head out. Always swim near a lifeguard. And if you find yourself caught in a rip current, don't panic. Float, wave, and shout until help can arrive. If you're a good swimmer, don't fight the rip. Swim parallel to the beach to break free of the current's hold. Live like a local, love the beach, respect the ocean.
Text OBX Beach Conditions to 77295 to sign up for daily beach forecast and condition reports. For terms of service and privacy policy, visit obxalerts.com.
Let's go to Cedar Island.
Our compass says we're turning back to the northeast. Part of our trip is through the Croatan National Forest in Carteret County. The forest features coastal and inland swamp habitats. It is very popular with hunters and fishermen, and it's a great place for hiking, boating, and camping. Cedar Island is an unincorporated community that some believe has a connection to the lost colony from Roanoke Island. The ferry from Cedar Island crosses the southeastern edge of the Pamlico Sound to Ocracoke Island. Unlike the other ferries we've ridden so far today, you will need a reservation to ride the Cedar Island Ferry. You can make your reservations online or call 1-800-BUY-FERRY. That's 1-800-293-3779. This route was established in 1961 to provide a connection for NC-12 down the Outer Banks to the mainland and allow better travel across the Pamlico Sound. Now we're on the Pamlico. It's a big ferry and was built to handle the large and sometimes turbulent waters of the open sounds. It takes about 2.5 hours to make this crossing.
I want to introduce you to Captain Jackie Willis. We're on the motor vessel Pamlico, crossing the Pamlico Sound from Cedar Island over to Ocracoke. This is quite a trip.
Yes, sir. About 23 miles.
How long does it take?
2 hours, 10 minutes.
Tell us a little bit about the motor vessel. How many cars does she hold? How big is she? How much water does she draw?
Well, the boat's about 220 foot long, draws about 6 foot, and we can get somewhere around 48 to 52 cars, according to the size.
And she's full right now?
Yes, sir.
Do you stay full all year long?
Pretty much so.
And I guess this is not just an opportunity for them to travel from one place to another, but just this kind of a ride is a real experience for the passenger.
Yeah, a lot of people take the coast out here to see something different and to catch a ferry.
How many crew members on board?
We have 7 crew members aboard. We have a captain, a mate, 3 deckhands, chief engineer, and oiler.
Wow. And I see another ferry coming this way from Ocracoke, maybe 2 more headed back and forth, possibly Swan Quarter. So is there a point where you guys all cross out here?
Yes, we're about to meet the halfway point now, and that'll be meeting the other boat going to Cedar Island, and there's also another boat coming from Swan Quarter on the way to Ocracoke.
Chief engineer on the Pamlico, Gary Gillikin, told us the ferry is powered by 2 3508 diesel Caterpillar engines. There are also 2 generators in the engine room, and a 3rd emergency generator is located on top in case there is ever a power failure. The engine room also has a complete set of backup controls, identical to the controls in the bridge.
We're visiting with Terry Bird, and we're still on the ferry Pamlico as we're just about to arrive at Ocracoke. And Terry, what brings you out here?
Well, I grew up in North Carolina and left when I was 17 years old. Spent my career in other places, came back and retired in 2005, and just want to experience North Carolina. Never been to the Outer Banks, and that's what we're doing in our retirement, trying to experience things we haven't had time to do.
How do you like the ferry ride?
It's great. It's worth the ferry ride just to come down.
The ferry terminal on Ocracoke Island is on the banks of Silver Lake. Blackbeard the pirate found safe harbor in these same calm waters for his pirate ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge. Blackbeard met his demise near Ocracoke in 1718 during a battle in Teach's Hold.
We're talking with Danny Styron. Danny, you're the operations manager for this part of the ferry service, which is on the south end of Ocracoke Island?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have ferries going to Swanquarter and from Swanquarter daily, and we have ferries going to and from Cedar Island. So we're really working two different operations at the same time, and there were better than 75,000 vehicles went through our area last year, and they'll average about 4 people to a vehicle. And that doesn't include in the spring of the year. We have a lot of buses that transit North Carolina, school children coming to the coast, going up and down the beach. And we've had as high as 5 and 6 of them on a ferry at a time.
When you get off the ferry, look to your right. You'll see the lighthouse. The Ocracoke Island Lighthouse is the second oldest in North America and has been in operation since 1823. The bodies of the crew of the British vessel Bedfordshire, sunk by a German submarine, washed ashore on the island and are buried here. The corrals along the road are home to the wild ponies of Ocracoke, and the island's beaches are known as some of the most beautiful in the world. From the north end of Ocracoke Island, we'll catch the ferry across Hatteras Inlet.
Treasure memories in Corolla Outer Banks. Go to CorollaNC.com.
The Jolly Roger is bigger and better. Our incredible new bar is the best venue on the beach for great entertainment, gaming tables, and emptying and ends.
No one takes care of locals better than the Jolly Roger, with special discounts every day on breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
The menu has it all with huge portions at affordable prices and plenty of room for large parties. Always casual, relaxed, and loads of fun.
The bigger and better Jolly Roger.
It's classic Outer Banks.
Discover the Dovetail Collection by Vaughn Bassett exclusively at Outer Banks Furniture. Made in the Virginia mountains using solid American white oak, Dovetail wood joinery dates back thousands of years. The collection is designed for those who appreciate the natural look of reclaimed wood with its cracks, knots, and bold grain patterns. Each piece is available in 3 finishes and is meticulously crafted for exceptional strength to give you long-lasting beauty. Find the Dovetail Collection from Vaughn Bassett exclusively at Outer Banks Furniture, Milepost 1 in Kitty Hawk.
Most golf courses try to take their design from their surroundings. Seascape Golf Links is no exception. What is exceptional, though, is how the sand dunes and maritime forest combine to create beautiful, playable coastal links. With dramatic elevation changes and ocean views. Seascape Golf Links, an 18-hole championship golf course, milepost 2.5 in Kitty Hawk. Call for tee times and ask about midday specials. 261-2158. 261-2158. Seascape Golf Links, a must-play for those who love the game.
This is the busiest route in the ferry service, with nearly 1 million passengers using this crossing each year.
We're on ferry number 4. We've got one more to go. We're crossing over from Ocracoke to Hatteras Island on the motor vessel Frisco. I'm in the passenger lounge. Most everybody on a beautiful day like this will set out in their car or hang over the rail during the trip. But all of the ferries are equipped with a place like this where you can come and sit, get in the air conditioning, get a drink of water, and just enjoy the trip from inside. You move a lot of people, don't you, through the course of the year? Have you any idea how many folks use the North Carolina ferry system in a year?
Yes, sir. System-wide, we carry over 2.5 million people, and proudly with very, very few complaints. We go to great lengths to make sure that, number one, that all of our customers, which is the traveling public, have a safe and pleasurable voyage. A vessel running 365 days a year, you always are going to have breakdowns, and we have field mechanics that get the ferries back online, and we have to shift them around to make sure that we have on-time departures so that the traveling public is not inconvenienced.
The ferry terminal on Hatteras Island is located adjacent to the U.S. Coast Guard Station in the village of Hatteras on the south end of the island. Look at all the people waiting with great expectation for their turn to ride the ferry. With the famous lighthouse, great beaches, and tidal marshes teeming with wildlife, the trip north up Hatteras Island is spectacular. After you cross the bridge over Organ Inlet, you'll come to the Body Island Lighthouse. A little further up the road, you'll see the Wright Brothers National Memorial. A little further north, you'll leave Dare County when you cross the Wright Brothers Memorial Bridge into Currituck County. We're starting to run out of daylight, and this will be the last ferry we ride today. This ferry will take us across the Sound to Knott's Island. This route was created in 1962 to shorten the travel time for the kids that live on the island to get back and forth from home to school each day. It's about a 45-minute ride. Knott's Island is bordered by the Currituck Sound, North Landing River, Back Bay, and Knott's Island Bay. It's a great area for hunting and fishing, or just spending some leisure time. And the ferry ride is a good time to feed some hungry seagulls. The ferry we're riding across the Currituck Sound today is the Chickamaucomico. The Chickamaucomico can carry 30 cars and 149 passengers. It is 150 feet long.
Well, we finally made it. What a day. 5 ferries in one day, and here we are on Knott's Island, North Carolina.
A very special thank you to all the people with the North Carolina Department of Transportation Ferry Division that have helped make this program possible. They work hard every day, keeping the ferries up and running. They're dedicated and committed to their job, and we should be proud of each and every one of them. I'm Ken Mann. I hope you've enjoyed our program, and I hope you'll get the chance to ride one of North Carolina's ferries sometime soon. Thank you so much for watching, and may God bless you richly.
Sunny seaside, Carolina home.
Connected to mainland North Carolina, yet seemingly a world away, Edenton is known as the prettiest small town in the South. Time passes slowly in the state's first colonial capital. The lure of historic sites, outdoor adventure, and friendly people draws visitors from near and far, whether by car or boat. Let our lighthouse be your beacon to a relaxing getaway on the Albemarle Sound. Find your Eden in Edenton, North Carolina, the South's prettiest small town.
What lies beneath the surface? The waters of the Outer Banks share their secrets, one cast at a time. Total relaxation, absolute exhilaration. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, a chain of barrier islands shaped by wind and water, connected by the elements, just open spaces and endless possibilities.
That's a good one. Oh yeah, really good one.
This is what we came out here for.
Sheep's head
Dang,
ceviche.
babe.
What's happening, everybody?
What's going on, guys?
You guys, Christy and I, we have an amazing video coming at y'all.
And today's video, you guys, is gonna be featuring Sheep's Head in the Outer Banks, and this video is gonna be brought to you by our official tourism partners, the Outer Banks Visitors Bureau.
Go to outerbanks.org and you guys can totally look at all the cool stuff the Outer Banks offers. And we're actually partnering up. This video is sponsored by the Outer Banks Visitors Bureau. And you guys check them out. And if y'all ever want to plan a trip to the Outer Banks, hit us up, ask us for some suggestions, but check out their website. We'll leave the link in the description below.
outerbanks.org, y'all.
All right, people, so let's go ahead. Let's roll this footage and show y'all this amazing day we had sheep's head fishing in the Outer Banks. What's happening, everybody? Today, Christy and I.
What up, y'all? We're here in the Outer Banks, just launched from Oregon Inlet, and we've got Jeff's good buddy and biz partner.
Boom. Owen. So, Owen, when's the last time that you went fishing?
It's been years.
Years?
Years, as they say.
When's the last time you drove a boat?
Years.
What was the last fish you caught?
Last fish I caught was a little baby croak out of the, let's see, it was about this big, and that was probably 2015.
Oh my gosh.
To say the least.
You live in the Outer Banks and it's been way too long. I kind of have a tradition also, Owen. People who are new on my boat, you get to, you're driving.
Driving the boat today.
Driving.
Okay.
So yeah, today, like Christy was saying, it's all about the sheep's head. Sheep head is the right way to say it. Sheep's head. However, whatever it is, we're catching the fish with black stripes. They have teeth and they like crustaceans. And they also like to hang out around bridge pilings. Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at all that fish right there. That right there is what people say when they look at their depth finder, and maybe they don't know what exactly they're looking at. But this is what we're looking for. So we got about 25 feet of depth, 68-degree water temp. This right here is probably just a bunch of crap that's on the bottom in terms of like structure. And look, this is what we're looking for. All those pilings, everything like that. So this current is ripping right now. Got a nice little eddy going on right here. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna hop up right here. All right. Let's hope the dolphin dancer doesn't go floating away.
I'm not gonna lie, I got excited.
I know, right? There we go. Oh, there's sheep's head right here. Oh my, dang it.
I like that bit.
There we go. Oh my gosh. There we go. Fish on. That's a sheep's head.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You're just smashing with your fish.
Target species.
Ooh, that's a nice one. All right, y'all, we're on a little bridge action. Sheep's head fishing. Oh,
nice
yeah.
One. Flip him onto.
Yeah, people. All right, y'all. This is our target species, getting on some sheephead.
On the sand, please.
Woo woo.
Nice job.
All right, guys, can only go out from here, but these little guys are perfect for eating and super pretty fish.
Love these fish.
Yep.
Hooked up? Yeah, you are.
Woo woo.
Here. Nice.
Nice.
You reeled them all the way up to the tip.
Way too far. I ain't been fishing in years, looks like.
Yeah.
All good. We got him. That's awesome. Your first sheep's head? Have you caught one? Your
This
first
is the
one?
first one. Not
Cool,
bad.
man. That's the hardest fish to catch. All right, so let me show you all this rig that we're using today. So this right here is just a standard dropper rig right here. So we have our weight at the bottom. We got about a foot up from that. We actually have a tutorial on how to tie these. It's pretty much a high-low rig or a bottom rig without the high rig, just one part of it. So it's called a dropper rig. We use these for tog fishing, and these work perfect for bridge fishing. Right now the current's kind of slacked out, so we're just using 1 ounce weights. We'll probably switch to like a 3/8 ounce weight even, just to go with the lightest that we can, because these sheep's head have such subtle bites. So these make the perfect bait right here for sheep's head. In the perfect world, if we had fiddler crabs or like quarter chunks of blue crab, that would be awesome. Just dropping it, counting back from like 5 seconds. And I don't know, the sheep's head, typically sea bass are gonna be at the very bottom. So if you're catching a lot of sea bass, then maybe come up a few cranks. Okay. Nice.
All right, y'all, time to go piling hopping. That's what we like to do. If you guys are hopping on some pilings, not getting bites right away, it's usually a good sign to switch it up a little bit.
Well, we've been getting bites.
But we have been getting.
We're going for the big one.
Yes, we have been getting bites, been getting on this piling, but I figured that we'd switch it up. See if there's bigger quality, more quality fish on some other ones. All right, guys, all moored up. We got all of our tackle, and we're gonna hit piling number 2, see if we can pull off some bigger sheep's head. Dang, he bit me off. That was big.
Wow, I just got whacked.
That was huge.
There we go. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh yeah, really good one. That's a really good one, people. Really good one. We're gonna net this guy from the boat. Here, here. Ooh, it's a good one. Sweet. All right, people. That right there was a blast on light action. Christy was a little upset because you had one. There's probably like there's probably like 40 of them right there.
No.
Anyways, you guys, that is such a blast on light action. Oh man. There it is. Nice size, sheep's head. Oh yes. One, two. There's one. That's a good one. Oh my word. Oh my word. That's a good one. Really good one. Come here.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh my word. Y'all, this we're all on. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. Tripled up. Oh yeah.
Nice job, dude. Oh, that's a good one.
Yes,
Flip him
sir.
up, flip him up, flip him up. Good job. Nice catch, dude. All right, let the bail open. Nice job, dude. That is a nice one. All right, so when y'all are sheep's head fishing, what we're doing is we are right up on this structure. That's what y'all want to do. This works out perfect for us to be standing on the structure. These sheep said what they're doing is they are literally swimming like up and down the pilings and literally like right on the pilings too. So all we're doing is we're starting at the bottom, and then you want to use your rod. Like, so what we're doing is we're pointing our rod tip down. And then when we feel that bite, that subtle bite, you just come tight, just like that. You just kind of set the hook like that. You do need to set the hook on sheep's head. That's all you really want to do when you're sheep's head fishing, is you're pretty much, oh, there's bites. There we go.
Oh, dang.
There we go.
Jeff is on.
Fish on.
So, like we were talking about, y'all.
Dang. Oh, look at that.
That's a good one, babe.
Okay, that's a really good one. We might need to get the net. Let's get the net.
Where's the net?
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Really? Yeah. Can you get in the boat? You ready? Really good one. You got it?
Yeah.
Ready? Nice.
Wow, big one.
That's the one that we want.
A really nice bite. This is our biggest one of the day.
Yeah.
This is what we came out here for.
This guy's making me actually look like I kind of know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we've been getting into a lot of different classes today, really small ones. This piling held some bigger ones, and then this bad boy right here we just pulled in.
This guy straight up bent my hook. We usually like to use like thicker hooks. That's a quality sheephead right
Get
there.
you some, babe.
That's awesome. I was saying, you guys, y'all want to work your bait like in the different like 5-foot increments. So start at the bottom and then just use your rod to like come from pointing your rod tip down to pointing your rod tip up. That's about 5 feet. That's all you're doing. That is awesome. Okay, this guy's going in the cooler.
Nice.
All right, people, that right there is a wrap.
Okay.
Whoa, crazy waves. Wind is definitely picking up, and we got ourselves a cooler full of these beautiful sheep's head. Dude, that was awesome, man.
That was awesome.
That was so cool.
Thank you guys so much.
I'm so glad that we got Owen out there. Christy, don't go floating away.
Full of sheep's head. What's up? Piling hopping in the Outer Banks. Y'all need to get out here, get yourself on a big old sheep head. Day is done, y'all.
That was the first time that you went fishing in like how long?
Like at least 5 years.
5 years.
Yep.
5 years. That's the last time Owen has been fishing, and you caught one of the hardest fish in the ocean to catch today. But we got to get out of here because it's getting crazy.
Oh, Santa here again for the Christmas shop and general store. You know, the general store has long been a favorite destination within our shop. You'll find favorites like candies and fudge, Heights chocolates, and ready-made Bavarian nuts. Plus, we offer a wide selection of made in North Carolina items, old-time candy, sodas, and more. And our wine section has an even larger selection than last year. With more wine tasting opportunities, it's all part of the experience at the Christmas shop and general store.
In a world of ordinary vacations, live the extraordinary. Book the real Outer Banks.
Out of the darkness, it still stands, guiding mariners on their way, a beacon of light for all to see. Find your light at visitcurrytuck.com.
Here we are, back in the kitchen. Today, I am going to make some ceviche with our sheep's head right here. So, people, that was an amazing day sheep's head fishing, and oh, that was awesome. We got a whole cooler full of these sheep's head, so I'm actually gonna try out and experiment some different recipes, but I wanted to show y'all some amazing sheep's head ceviche. That's a very easy recipe, super easy, and all you're gonna do is be cooking your fish with these limes right here. So anyways, let's get right to it. Like, amazing ceviche. Perfect size. Look at those teeth. So these fish, they will like swim up pilings like this, and that's when they take your bait. You know, they'll sometimes take it going down, but that's all they're doing is they're just like circling around pilings. All right, so this is our first cut. Then all we're gonna do, turn the fish around. So all we're doing is just working our knife right down the fillet. From here, we're just gonna just work our blade down the fillet. And all right, here's a little pro tip that I pretty much do in all my videos. So all you're gonna do is just take your knife, cut a hole, and then you can stick your finger through it just like this. Yeah, so this hole right here in the back of the fillet just helps you to like pull it off of the, should just come out pretty clean just like that. All right, here we go. All right, y'all, so this right here, amazing quality of meat right here, this sheep's head. And if I really wanted to, I could do some sushi out of it, but I'm gonna stick to the plan and make some ceviche. So all I'm gonna do right now is we're just going to cut it up into some kind of like small bite-sized pieces. About that big right there. So that's all we're doing. Just some little pieces like this makes for perfect ceviche. And then we're just gonna put it in this little container. You can put it in a bowl. Okay, so here it is, people. So this right here, this is our sheep's head ceviche. So all we're gonna do, take some limes. I've already got these diced up. I think I used like 4 or 5 limes, but all we're gonna do, I don't know how many I need. We just want enough lime juice so that the fish is like fully submerged in the lime juice, because that's ceviche, that's how the fish cooks, is the acid in the lime juice. I would just like to say that if there was some sort of like game show that I was on today for like, I don't know, having the perfect amount of limes that you have to buy to appropriately submerge my fish fillets, I would have won. And that's like the first time that's ever happened to me when I go grocery shopping, because usually I'll buy like way too much or not enough. I've got all my limes that I just got a nice wrist workout, just squeezing all these limes right here. And I'm gonna put a top on this. You could just put these in a bowl, do whatever, and then, you know, you just put some like saran wrap on top. So we've got the fish fillets fully submerged in the lime juice. I'm gonna go ahead, stick this in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. And I don't know, I guess I gotta try and figure out something to do for 30 minutes. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll clean the kitchen and, oh, I know. Actually, you guys, check this out. So, Kirsty, my wife, you know, one fish, two fish. It's Kirsty and I, we do this YouTube channel. Kirsty's out right now with her friends. All right, so I don't show y'all this to like brag or anything, but I don't know, to all y'all dudes out there, get your wife some flowers. So actually, this is what I'm gonna do for the next 30 minutes. So I'm gonna surprise Kirsty. I'm gonna clean the kitchen, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't do the best job with that, and come home and there's like fish scales and crap like that on the kitchen floor. So that's how I'm gonna spend 30 minutes. But to all the men out there who got your lady out there, get her some flowers. Guarantee you. And if you ask, you can tell her that one fish, two fish told you. So you guys do that. Get your lady some flowers. And yeah, so I gotta find 30 minutes to kill. And that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna clean the kitchen. And Kirsty's gonna come home. She's gonna see flowers and a clean kitchen. And everything is just going to be amazing. Because I'm gonna have my ceviche, gonna have some football, and gonna have some happy wife action going on. You guys, that's what it's all about. So 30 minutes, not too bad. Got the ceviche in the refrigerator. I'll check you guys. Meantime, I'm gonna clean up the kitchen, get everything situated, show y'all how easy it is to make this sheepshead ceviche taste amazing. Woo! That right there, people, that's how, oh man, I feel really good about that. Past 30 minutes, clean kitchen. Kirsty is gonna love it. Look at this. Everything super clean. It smells lemony fresh. But check this out. To top this off, oh yeah, this is what we're gonna do. To Kirsty, a clean kitchen for my super hot double underline wife. Period. Love, Jeff. She just got home. She's just got home. Christy?
Hi.
Look what I did.
What'd you do?
Seriously?
Oh, you cleaned the whole kitchen.
I know.
It looks so good.
Doesn't it?
Are you getting me on video?
Maybe.
Babe, this is so sweet. Is this for me for lunch?
No, that's my ceviche.
Oh.
But you can have some of it. What's
I
that?
got really excited. I was like, you made me tacos?
Well, you can have some of my
That's what I
ceviche.
thought this was all about, the tacos. You put it on top of the tortillas. And I saw chips. You don't even need chips.
Well, it's for the ceviche.
This looks so great.
Doesn't it? I know.
I've never seen it so clean.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. My hot husband. Y'all, ladies, get yourself a man who can clean up a kitchen.
That's right. 30 minutes later, that plan was executed to perfection. So here it is. This is our fish. As you can see, it's a little bit more white It's only been in here for 30 minutes because I am super starving. So this is the ceviche. Okay, here it is. So we have diced cucumbers, diced tomatoes, onions, and avocado. So this is so easy. All we're gonna do is put our mix-ins right here in this bowl. So cucumbers, tomatoes, put some onions in there. Let's do some avocado. Love ceviche, super tasty and very healthy as well. So, all right, avocado, solid base. All right, then put the fish. Oh my God. Put some salt in here, a little bit of pepper. That's it, people. There it is. That is ultimate sheep's head ceviche.
Dang, babe. That smells amazing.
So, all right, if you want to add a little bit of variety to it, here's another thing that you can do. Add some salsa to it. Y'all, this is like amazing. So check this out.
Ooh.
Put some salsa in here. Take some chips. Oh my gosh, I'm so starving, and I know this is gonna taste amazing. Okay, here we go. Make sure we get some fish up in there.
Tostito ceviche.
That's right. There it is. Ceviche, baby.
That good, huh?
So good. So good. So,
Here.
that's what you can do to add a little pizzazz to it. Christy and I are actually in the process of moving. So, what I would normally do is you can take like a wine glass or take like, I don't know, something that looks nice. Put this in that. And that is amazing. But here it is, people. This is the sheep's head.
Is that dank?
Ceviche. It's dope. So this is the without the salsa. But as you can see, the fish has been cooked in the lime juice, nice and white, and just the acid has cooked it. And you guys, it's so good. Ceviche tacos. Are you kidding me? So you can do chips, or you can just do tacos, or you can just eat it.
Martin, eat lunch.
That's so good.
All right, people. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, give us a little subscribe and hit that notification bell and thumbs up. And hopefully you guys enjoyed our little catch and cook video for you guys. A little Outer Banks action. Just got in from a beach walk with some girlfriends and came into my amazing husband cleaning my kitchen, making lunch. What can get any better than that?
That's right. And we got football. Come on.
Heck to the yeah.
That's
all right,
awesome.
people, get up off your butt. Go catch some fish.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Just across the Wright Memorial Bridge, you'll find one-of-a-kind experiences await you. Don't let memories you'll treasure pass you by on the road to the Outer Banks. Take a day and find yourself on the Currituck mainland.
My name's Nathan Loudermilk. I'm a surfer and fisherman from the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I'm a lifeguard here for Kildare Hills Ocean Rescue. This is my 9th year. Drowning deaths occur when people are pulled offshore by a rip current. They're unable to keep themselves afloat due to exhaustion or fear, lack of swimming, and eventually they'll end up inhaling water, going unconscious. If you do find yourself in a rip current, first thing, you're going to want to remain calm, and you're going to want to swim parallel to shore until you are out of the current, and then make your way to the beach. If you do see somebody struggling in a rip current, please do not attempt to rescue them unless you are trained for it and you have a flotation device. Remember, many people drown trying to save someone else from a rip current. Be safe, be seen, and always swim near a lifeguard. Love the beach and respect the ocean.
Here at the beach, obviously, you will get a lot of UV rays. It's important to protect yourself from those, not only from direct sun contact, so having shade, umbrellas will block direct sun contact, but then you get a lot of UV rays bouncing off the water and the sand. So it's important to use protective sunscreen, anything stronger than SPF 30, and then zinc sunscreen is good waterproof sunscreen. Follow the instructions on the sunscreen. Certain ones are more water resistant, others wash off pretty quickly. But generally, especially if you have fair skin, reapply about every hour. It's real important, kind of take breaks. If you're planning to be at the beach all day long, go inside for lunch, get an AC, get out of the sun, get some water, some food in you. Just take a break from the heat.
I'm Bree Voivich. I am a surfer, a surf instructor, and a lifeguard here in Kill Devil Hills. The power of the ocean deserves everyone's respect. Even on tranquil days, hard to see, powerful rip currents are present up and down the coast. Every year, unsuspected swimmers find themselves in the grip of the rip. Many lose their lives. Such tragic events can be easily prevented with a few local tips. Know before you go and check the local beach forecast before heading out. Always swim near a lifeguard. And if you find yourself caught in a rip current, don't panic, float, wave and shout until help can arrive. If you're a good swimmer, don't fight the rip. Swim parallel to the beach to break free of the current's hold. Live like a local, love the beach, respect the ocean.
Every place has a story. Stories of romance, drama, adventure, stories of life. Find your story at visitcurrituck.com.
Nobody's surfing our peak.
Yo, what's up? Should be able to get some good waves. Well, it was supposed to be, 3 to 4 feet, 4 or 5 feet maybe. It was not meant to be this big.
Surf looks like it looks fun. Oh my God! What? Oh, the right and the left. Wow.
Well, I'm ready to change. Yep.
Head up Highway 12 to where the road ends and you'll find the legendary Corolla wild horses, iconic historical sites, unique shopping and dining, outdoor events, and more. Take a day and find yourself here.
Chickamaucomico Life-Saving Station was first built in 1874, and it was a way to help people who were distressed in the shipping lanes. Back then, that was the highway, and everything was done by the sea.
We live up to our nickname, the Graveyard of the Atlantic. There was a long history of shipwrecks that resulted in a need of, yes, we need to get stations out there.
The mission of the Life-Saving Service was to save people from a land-based operation. This is the place where Chickamaucomico Life-Saving Station was. It's where the rescues were performed. It's where the men lived. It pretty much was the beginning of a professional life-saving service in the United States.
So this is the 1874 building. This is the first of the 7 original life-saving stations built on the coast of North Carolina. So this one is very special. It was replaced in 1911 by our 1911 station, which is much larger, had room for more of the surfmen to not so much be in a large bunk room, but maybe just have a couple of guys in each room.
On site, there are 2 cookhouses, 1 per station. They use the cookhouses for various reasons. Obviously, cooking kept fire away from a wooden building. It provided warmth from the fire, so they used them also as shower houses.
And then we have a house that was donated to us in 2006 by the Midget family, and it was the home of Captain Cornelius Midget, the older brother of our own Captain John Allen Midget Jr., and that little house we call the Midget House.
We are the only station in the U.S. Life-Saving Service history that is a complete site. In no other place in America can you go to and see the accurate history that you see here.
In particular, the reenactment, we do it to the T. We do everything as if we are training as they did 150 years ago.
And what you see here at Chickamaucomico is not a reenactment of a rescue. It is a reenactment of the training that they did to prepare themselves for a rescue. That's why it's called the beach apparatus drill. But just like they did, we do it on Thursday afternoons at 2 o'clock. Most of our displays are on loan from families or from other organizations, most from families who have gotten granddad's medal or uniform or whatever the case may be.
We have artifacts from shipwrecks. We have some documents, we have photographs, we have equipment that was used in the past, and we have the buildings. This is a museum of place. This is where it happened. You can walk out on the beach and know that you're walking in the footsteps of people who rescued people that they never saw before and would never see again.
The most famous rescue out of this station was in 1918. The British tanker Merlot was torpedoed about 5 miles off